Top of the morning to you fuckers. It is August 18th, 7:44 a.m. My mom just left for work, and I have some news to share with you. Not really news, but like a bit of advice. If you're looking for an author who writes consistently great shit, might I recommend Neil Gaiman. His novels, every single one of them I've read, have been so fucking good. Consistently amazing. I mean, fuck, American Gods was my favorite novel for like about a year, because it was just so damn good. But yeah, and that, like, he's very well known, but if I had to give you an author that I think is less well known to the general populace than, Neil Gaiman, I would say Thomas Mann. Thomas Mann was a German author who who had a very strong fascination with the concept of decay. Whether it be societal, political, spiritual, whatever. The three books of his that I've read, Dr. Faustus, Magic Mountain, and Buddenbrooks, are all about decay in different ways. Buddenbrooks is about the decay of a sort of bourgeoisie family over the course of 4 generations. Really good book. Dr. Faustus is about the degradation of a man's soul after he makes a quasi-Faustian deal. And The Magic Mountain, my personal favorite, and honestly my favorite book, is about the decay of Europe between the First and Second World Wars. I don't think I have ever read a book that is as good as The Magic Mountain, just in everything. Just holy fucking shit. The Magic Mountain is one of those books that you only ever read, like, once. The first time, obviously, it's every book, but, like, it's one of those books you wish you could do again. Because in my experience, it is the best book I've ever read in, like, years. Fucking years, mate. And yes, Thomas Mann does use big words and is very, very pretentious, as the fucking mainstream cult would say. But I don't really think he is. He has some genuinely moving and intriguing thoughts to say about humanity in general. And just the fact that Buddenbrooks was semi-autobiographical as well, about his own family decaying over the course of generations because of the war. It's really interesting. It's really interesting to read. Anyway, let's jump into Echo. Enough of me blathering on about literature, because if we keep going, it's probably going to be like literal hours before I finish. So let's get into this. TJ gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. Shower turns on at some point, and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again, and when I wake up next, I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away at the laptop. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Morning. Still tired? It's almost noon. I rub my face on my pillow and groan. Guess I was up later than I thought. Forced myself to sit up. Couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Where's Teach? Hike. What? You want to hike? I sit there frowning at Jenna. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know, he wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know, I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's a scavenger hunt. Of course that's what's bothering him. I sit on the edge of the bed, rub my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it. I'm going to try and talk to him when he gets back, though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding whether or not to just text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about the treasure hunt? She doesn't even look up from her screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it is weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there then? I shrug. I don't know. I stares at the computer screen for a while, not type it anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if it was someone else that left them there, it's going to help him. If it's going to help him, I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping it ends at the house. Yeah. Then it goes on typing. Apparently done with the conversation, so I finally get up and go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I get to go to the lobby. What's left is a few dried biscuits. So I opt to go into the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room to finish her paper. I sit at my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. You know, why does every diner look like this, you know? Like, I swear, now that I'm thinking about it, this interior does look a lot like a fucking diner that's up in Atlanta, because, like, well, not really. I mean, it does. It looks like this one cafe that's over in Atlanta. And, like, we've gone there, like, 3 times now. Last time I went was when I was on, like, a TL, like, a temporary leave from the hospital. Yeah, I was at, like, mental hospital for suicidal thoughts and ideation and all that shit. So, that was fun. Not really, but whatever. I said yeah, I read that. Okay. Janice comes over to my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100-plus degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right of mind to take long enough water and make sure to cool off like he did to me. I look down at my phone on the table again, considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. Hey man. Good grief. Then I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone move up next to me. I'm next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice when I met with the sight of a young white deer, his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. I blink on his name for a few moments and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. Then I remember. Oh, Julian, what's up? Julian smiles. Hey there, my shift just ended and I saw you sitting here. I wait, but it doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it and I can't really find a way out, so... Wanna sit down? Yeah, sure. Julian responds quickly and slides in the booth set across from me, setting his folded apron down the table. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sound a little annoyed. Part of me hopes that I do, so they might just get the hint like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers, resting his forearms on the table. How are you today? Good, you know. Julian shrugs. Yeah, I've been better. This job is really starting to wear me out, you know? Yeah, I've had a few like that. Well, the buck seems nice enough. I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with the guy my entire life. He was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out, and TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taken interest. Yeah, what sort of job do you have? Well, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year. So that job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did, the one I had in high school. Kinda like stacking boxes and putting stuff in shelves. See, I think food service jobs are definitely the worst, so I can see why stocking might be a little better. Breaks off his Janice Kazak, setting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase, Julian? A little, I know him through TJ. Oh, well, you see that boy again, let me know I'd like to chat with him. Look up at Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. So I'd definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa. But this dinner's some seriously flexible hours, the only reason why I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during the lunch hour. Wouldn't that be worse than being busy? I mean, Wouldn't you rather be kept occupied than bored? And not at the 2 or 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or two. That idea actually makes me a little sad. Looked down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkwardly due to just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian looks back up and looks out the window. So, where's TJ? I thought you two were hanging out. Get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian is talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike early this morning. I slept in. Oh, I see. You still do that a lot. I shrug. I don't know, I've only been here for about a week. He does love going on hikes, though. I mean, does he do that at CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realize what he's talking about. Oh, no, I don't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Oh, so you guys met up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo, too. I got a little frustrated having to explain everything to this guy. All I do is eat. Then go back to the motel and wait for TJ. I see, well, TJ was my best friend during senior year after you and Carl left. We hung out all the time. After I left for college, we kind of lost touch. Yeah, he's not very active on social media. I'd only seen TJ post a few pictures since she started classes. A few of them were of him on the college soccer team, and one of them was just standing in a prayer circle with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend for that in high school cooled my exasperation. Suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kind of depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprises me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. Sure, he's been sad before, but not outright depressed as far as I know. Maybe I don't know much about him. I thought it might have to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I could definitely let him know. Just drop my phone on the table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too. About everything. Julian smiles. That would be great, please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. Hesitate, then pick up my phone and type out the brief message. I just met Julian at the diner. I'd like to talk to you. TJ hasn't texted me back yet. How long have you known TJ? I set the phone back down and settled back into the booth. Since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part, I had times when I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. Hey, I see. Yeah, we all went to the same elementary school. It wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Of course. I always knew about you guys, though, the Echo Kids. Yep, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It is a mean thing to say, but this town is kind of messed up. Lots of weird things happen here. Oh, you don't know the half of it, buddy. I can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. Then he lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is gonna be a little weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something's bothered me for a while. I eyed Julian warily. Yeah? Well, TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back, and we were talking about death and heaven. I feel a little chill go up my spine. Well, he never actually told me what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him. He pauses and I don't say anything, keep my eyes fixed on the table. Now, you don't have to tell me, and it makes you uncomfortable. Please don't. But I feel like if I had a better idea what happened, I might understand him a little better. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest it on. I'm not going to ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, then please just let me know, and I'll change the subject. I contemplate for a moment, wondering if the Buck is out of his line to be asking such a thing. I decide he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have a reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring it up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him. Never. Wayne looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gather my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. Okay, so we died in 2003, not 2002. I was gonna say, okay. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim, like we'd did almost every other week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in and it's mostly sand and shallow water. That's where we'd usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. We had to go further up to the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sand castles. So he stayed behind while the rest of us went up to the beach to find the rocks. When you go up that far, you can't really see what that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as he went up the beach, the Lynx bending over his castle at the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from where he sat down. Sydney went with us. I at least remember that, but while we were skipping rocks, he just sort of disappeared. I glanced up at Julian for a moment and see him listening to him before I looked back down at the table. Anyway, we heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him. Too late, though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation of what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off balance and pulled him in. How he even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. How none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. Seems a bit to be enough for Julian, though, as he shakes his head. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but thank you for telling me. All I knew was that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why it was close. It may still deeply affect him. No problem. I realize that Julian's probably the first person I've ever told the story to outside of Echo. I also realize that it wasn't that hard to do at all. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that has no connection to the raw horror of that day. That and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over without even knowing. But yeah, Echo was a crazy place. You know about the mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? This place has become famous for that. Almost all the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a visa, so I remember my project. Carmack is my pause. Shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I can cover my face to see Julian looking with some concern. No, I just forgot some schoolwork that I need to get done a project. Pick something around the scavenger hunt and completely wipe the thought of it from my mind. Oh, what kind of project? A news report echoing that mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything else since I first got here. Hey, that's so cool. Do you need any help? I blinked, the bug's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed, and the skin on the inside of his ears turning a dark red. Sorry, it's something that always interests me, so I got a little excited. I glance down my phone and see that I still haven't gotten a response from TJ, so I get an idea. It's not my initial annoyance that I like how concerned Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of our trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of the mine, or at least the opening, since it's still up. If you want, we can head up there and get some shots, and at the same time look for TJ. The trail's in that area. Julian perks up. Yeah, that would be really awesome. Thanks. Do you want to eat that first? No, my sandwich and shake my head. I'll just eat in the way of the motel. I got my truck. I can drive you over, and there's a bunch of room if you need it for your equipment. Okay, yeah, thanks. Just get me a to-go box and we can leave. 20 minutes later, we're heading up the Narrow Canyon Road toward the mine. I haven't been there in years, but dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't even have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to-go box. While there's an almost robotic quality to the buck, with how articulate he is, he's also really nice. I can certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward in front of me to get to the mine. There's a wide open dirt space for parking along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop-off. There are a few signposts probably giving a brief history on the mine, and then there's TJ. The Lynx is sitting at the open of the mine, right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What the? Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction I'm looking. Oh, is that TJ? I don't say anything because I realize now how limp the Lynx looks, his head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. Out of the truck before Julian could even park. My mind to go about spilling out into the gravel. I jogged toward TJ. TJ, hey, what's wrong? You okay? Lynx doesn't respond. When I get to him, I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can only see white. I bend over and trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack getting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine blowing out through the rebar. I ignore it at first, focused on trying to get TJ to respond to me, but then I realized there's a hissing sound to go with it, like someone exhaling. The fuck? I glance up through the grid, but I don't see anything. Still, I get the unnerving feeling that the opening is breathing somehow. Is he alright? Julian shouted right up next to me. Turns my attention back to TJ. I look down at Lynx and see his ears twitching around. Yeah, what? Crouched down next to him, putting a paw behind his head to give him some support. TJ, what happened? Are you okay? He turns to me, blinking in confusion. Okay, what's wrong? He rubs at his eyes with the back of his paw before adjusting himself so he can sit up straight. You were just sitting there. You almost looked... Julian pauses. It looked like you were passed out or something. She finally seems to focus on us, the dazed look in his eyes disappearing. Passed out? Oh, no, I was just taking a quick nap. TJ lets out a short laugh and leans his head back in his backpack. What? Here? I look back at the sealed mine, the ominous blackness still seeming to yawn open at us. Why? Well, it's hotter than usual today, so I started to feel like I was going to pass out. I thought that would be a bad sign, so I decided to rest once I got here. You came here on purpose? Yeah, I saw the cannon with you last time, so I decided to take a trip to the mine this time. She smiles lazily at me as he continues to lounge against his backpack. Sorry, I worried you and... Oh, Julian! He seems to suddenly realize that the stag is here. What are you doing here? TJ quickly gets to his feet, sliding his arms out of the straps of his backpack. He hugs Julian, the stag hugging back just as enthusiastically. She doesn't even greet me so intimately. I suppose they have more of a history than I thought. Hey, Teach, yeah, I met Chase at the diner. You weren't answering your text, so we both decided to come up and find you. And Chase needs to get some footage for his project. Oh, cool. Do you need help with that, Chase? TJ turned at me with a grin. I don't know what it is, but TJ's acting a lot more chipper than he was yesterday. That almost dark bruness is gone, replaced by his usual cheer. I have to smile because of it, despite the situation just a few minutes ago. Sure. Another breeze of cool air seems to whoosh softly through the rebar. I look back at it. TJ, why the hell would you sleep here next to the creepy mine? He frowns. It was really cool. Like cold. I was laying in the opening and felt some cool air blow out, so I decided to lean against it. It was really nice. He walks up to my grid and spreads his arm out, pushing on the bars as he presses his face against it. He leans his head back, pulling a face. Well, it smells really musty, but it feels good. Back at the opening, the blackness inside sends chills up my spine. Think back to when a body was found in there over 100 years ago. Even though I know there aren't any dead bodies in there now, it still creeps me the fuck out. Well, yeah, there was a body found, but it wasn't a murder, you fucking... I guess, yeah, you wouldn't know that. History being written by the victors and whatnot. I try to hide my shudders as I turn away, looking back at the truck. Hey, so are we going to Cindy's old house now? Is that why you guys came to find me? He's trying to hide it, but I can hear the eagerness in his voice. I turn back to look at him, the Lynx now with his back to the mine and pressed up against it. I want to tell him to move away from the opening, but I wouldn't be able to explain to him why. Well, let me get some filming done first. I can do the voiceover later, so it'll be quick. I hold back a wince as I realize how much time this is also going to take. The project is going to be shit at this point, can't avoid that. I just need to make it the least shit as I can. Oh yeah, sorry. TJ laughs nervously, then looks away. Sorry, I'm just a little loopy from my nap. You guys really surprised me. It's okay, I'm gonna go get my equipment real quick, okay? TJ nods at me and I jog off to the park track to grab my camera. So TJ might still be acting a little weird, but I'm just glad he seems happy again. Seeing him that way, the way that he was last night, was a little unnerving to say the least. I scoop up my camera bag from the bed of the truck and head back, slowing down to walk as the heat is already starting to catch up with me. how TJ was able to go on a several-hour-long hike is absurd to me. It almost seems foolish, especially for someone like TJ who knows about how dangerous that can be. When I get back to the mine entrance, I see Julie and TJ sitting with their backs together beside the opening and chatting with each other. They're eating granola bars and TJ holds them out to me as I approach. Thanks. Hey, TJ? Huh? He looks at me innocently. If you go on a hike again, be sure to bring me next time, okay? I don't think you should be alone out here. Oh, yeah, sure. His ears droop a little, small frown on his face. I just don't want you to get hurt, you know? It's really hot today, and it would have been really terrible if you passed out alone. Yeah, sorry. I drop my bag gently on the ground before leaning back against the wall next to the Lynx. It's all good, I just want to make sure you're okay. Thanks, I just didn't want to wake you up this morning. Jen offered to go with you, didn't she? TJ sighs quietly, looking back into the mine. Yeah, but I can tell you guys don't want to go. I just don't want to ruin this trip for you more than I already have. What? TJ, what are you talking about? TJ goes quiet then, shrugs his shoulders. Maybe he isn't back to his old self after all. I wouldn't mind going with you, TJ. I love hiking. Julian smiles gently at the Lynx. For some reason, I feel a tiny tug of annoyance in my chest. It's stupid, but I was the one who offered first, and I'm the one that took TJ out the first time. Yeah, we could both go. The point is you don't go out alone next time, alright, Tej? Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. No problem. Short silence stretches out between the three of us before Julian speaks up again. We were just talking about our old Bible study group. Nah. Julian sat back against the wall, rolling his eyes. It's an expression I don't see from him very often. What about it? Oh, just the way that she would always take it so serious no one else would. Julian shakes his head in exasperation. Yeah, I never had any control in that club. Oh, really? What were you in charge? It's a little odd to think of someone teaching a leadership position like that. I just never knew him to put himself out there in high school. Yeah, I revived it after it sort of went defunct for a few years. Wasn't all that popular. She smiles with some embarrassment. Yeah, we had like 3 other members, not including you or me. Yeah, then one dropped out after like 2 meetings. Julian clicks his tongue. What a godless school he went to. Hey! You know, I'm kidding, mostly. Well, I did want atheists to join too, as long as they weren't disruptive. I just wanted to show everyone a nice experience it could be. Even if you didn't believe. I very vaguely remember TJ inviting me to the club and me saying that I'd think about it. I never went, of course. Wasn't all that spiritual in the end, though. Yeah, most we just taught and brought snacks. It took TJ a while to realize no one wanted another Sunday school session actual school. Yep, hours of planning out the window. It was still a great time. I think the 4 of us were happier for it. Yeah, I guess. TJ seemed to suddenly notice me. Sorry, Chase, you wouldn't know much about this stuff. It's okay, it's interesting to hear about. God. I was a fucking Christian when I was younger, too. Good grief. I got out of that, thankfully, because fuck religion. Fuck religion, man. Just a bunch of brainwashed retards. Honestly, though. But yeah, I was religious at one point, and got out of it, and yeah, I fucking hate religion now because of all the shit that I had to deal with when I was younger. From my fucking father always. Yeah. Fucking hate religion. Again, I get that little twinge of jealousy, even though I know it's not fair. I chose not to show up, probably using that time to go home and hang out with Leo. Yeah, and miss much, just discussions about movies and watching movies too. Yeah, they couldn't even be religiously themed. Thank God. Hey! I laugh at how indignant TJ is. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, at least. I came away thinking the whole thing was a failure. I think I remember you mentioning that you wished your friend here would have shown up. I don't really remember. Of course you do, you said it all the time. TJ's ears flatten and turn red. Who, me? Yep. Julian grins as TJ tries to look away. Well, the situation is kind of funny now. I feel even worse about not ever showing up. Ugh, sorry, TJ. You know it was high school and all. Yeah, I understand. Don't worry about it. So you just started a club at your new school? TJ smirks. It's a Christian school, just like 50 clubs about religion. Oh, are you a member of any of them? A few. Which ones? A singles club? Singles? As in fun in a day? Sure. Looks away again. It's hilarious how bashful he's about this stuff. He's in college, all of this should be national to talk about, but not with DJ. You meet anyone? Hey, Chase, don't you have to film some stuff? He looks back at me with a frown. Whoa, just asking. Julian chuckles quietly. I bend down and start pulling out my equipment and decide that a few long shots with the tripod should be enough. As I'm standing on my legs, Julian asks TJ about the hike. Was it fun? TJ shrugs, finishing the last of his granola bar and brushing his paws together to get rid of the crumbs. It was okay, it was really quiet. I wince when my pants get pinched between the metal. Kinda creepy, to be honest. I would like it if you two went along sometime if I do it again. Of course. Yeah, definitely. Over the next 20 minutes, I set up the camera into 3 different spots, getting about 1 minute of film for each. TJ and Julian sit in the truck while I do. You know, whenever I glance over at them, they seem to be animatedly chatting and laughing. Once I'm done, I sigh and quickly snap the legs back down in the bag along with the camera. I see my to-go box in the dirt to consider picking it up, but I don't. I drop the bag in the truck again before hopping into the passenger seat, leaving TJ to sit between the two of us. They go quiet as we start pulling out onto the dirt road. What were you guys talking about? Not much, just about high school. TJ nods. Again, I'm starting to feel a little left out between these two, kind of like a third wheel. So, what's the plan now? Well, we thought we'd go to the house now after we pick up Jen and Carl. Alright. We drive in silence a little while, and for some reason, I start to wish that I was sitting in the middle. The way TJ keeps turning the wheel forces his elbow to brush up against TJ's side, and I force myself to look away, wondering what the fuck I'm thinking. I'm treating TJ like he's something that belongs to me. We only hung out recently over the course of this week. I'd barely talked to him the past 2 years. I forced myself to look ahead out the windshield. Then TJ's phone buzzes in my eyes, naturally on the screen as the wind whips it out. I see the name Flynn and the message underneath it. I only have time to see a few words. You know his fucking tell me. TJ jerks his phone back down and I look away just feel the lynx his eyes at my face. I wonder if he saw me looking. I'm sure he did. That doesn't really matter though, because now I'm wondering what the fuck Flynn thinks he's doing. We've been staying away from each other the past few days, obviously, but I guess Flynn found another way to get to TJ. What the fuck does he think he's doing? I feel myself getting angry. I don't exactly know what the legend is saying to TJ, but judging by what I saw, I know it's definitely not good. I make a mental note to ask TJ about it tonight. If he won't tell me, then I'll let Leo know. He'll do something about it. We all walk up the sidewalk to the old ranch-style house. It's been a long, long time since I've seen this place. Even longer since I've walked on this path. Sydney's house is up the gravel road behind the forest. It's a bit of an odd spot, secluded from the rest of the town. It was all the better for us, I guess. It's nice not to be reminded of what happened. Guys, I don't know about this. You think he's gonna just let us in? What else can we do? Maybe Sydney didn't mean his room. Where else would he sleep? I don't know. I mean, he'd nap in random places, remember, right? Like, he slept on my couch, even. Stop it, Chase. You know that's not what he meant. Well, who knows? I do. I know where it is. That dark, agitated voice is creeping in again. I suppose there's no harm in asking. You can't deny that it's a little weird for 5 young adults to show up on your doorstep, asking to be let in. We don't have much of a choice, though, do we? TJ's walking ahead of all of us, marching up the concrete step without hesitation before immediately ringing the bell. Whoa, wait, we didn't even think about what we're going to say. I already know what I'm going to say. I stand there in stunned silence for a bit, and I look around at the others. Carl looks completely uncomfortable, almost nauseous. His paws shoved deep into his pockets as he stares hard at the ground. Jen is staring at TJ, her brow furrowed, clearly worried. Julian just stands there as if the situation doesn't bother him at all. The door finally opens, revealing a young red panda not much older than ourselves. He blinks at us and fixes a smile on his face. "Hello, can I help you?" CT's ears flatten down for a moment as originally tough resolve clearly faltering. Hello." The red panda stares down at TJ for a moment, waiting expectantly. I don't recognize him, and I'm sure I would have seen him around town if he'd moved in after Sydney's parents moved out. It must have been sometime recently, a few years ago. Decided then that I should step in to let TJ try and gather his wits. "Hi, I'm Chase, this is TJ and Carl, Jenna and Julian." Points at everyone, feeling my cheeks grow hot. "Hi, everyone, I'm Inji." Another moment of awkward silence before I try to think of something else to say. How the hell do you bring money to search someone's house because it belonged to your dead friend? As I'm trying to figure that out, TJ speaks up again. Our friend used to live here about 12 years ago." "Oh, really?" And it seems to think. "Are you talking about Cindy?" "Sydney, yeah, he was our friend." "Oh, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. I think his aunt told me what happened." "Yes, and he left something behind for us in his room. Is it alright if we come and look for it?" Inji's originally inquisitive look is one of confusion, definitely a little bit of suspicion. "Oh, all of you?" I notice Carl still staring down at the hard floor, his paws twisted in his pockets. "Yeah, that's alright with you." She stares at us for a good 10 seconds, causing me even me to glance down at the floor, realizing how stupid all of this is. Finally, he starts to step back, closing the door a little bit as he does. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's a good idea." "Wait!" She just steps forward, his fur bristling. The panda just jumps a little, closing the door further until it's a point where I can only see one of his eyes. "Sorry, it's just maybe I could come in and the rest of my friends can wait outside. This will be real quick. I know exactly where to look." And his one eye still looks back at us. He turns around, makes a shooing gesture with both the paws. There's a pause, then we stumble back a little down the steps onto the sidewalk. My face burns again in embarrassment, realizing what a bunch of crazy people we look like right now. I look back and see TJ standing alone at the porch, looking back at the panda, his paws clasped together. Again, what feels like a very long silence seems to drag on until Inji opens the door slightly. "You know what? Why don't you just tell me where it is and I'll have a look?" Oh, yeah, TJ seems surprised, if only now considering that idea. It's the room on the left down the hallway." She points at the door at an angle. "In the closet in the back corner. It might be in a box." Inji's facial expression mirrors mine as I frown. Box in a closet. It's been there for over a decade. "Alright, I'll have a look." Inji disappears behind the door and I hear a deadbolt slide into place. We stand there in silence for a while before Carl breaks it. "Dude, he's calling the police." "Well, he's not." "We look like a bunch of crazy people. We should leave." "Not until he comes back out." "I think I'm gonna be sick." "I think it's technically okay unless he tells us to leave." "He did say he's going to look for it. Now I'm just waiting for his answer." I see Carl scuff his toes against the pavement, looking around nervously. I wonder if he's had too much weed or something. "Why do you think it's in the closet?" He used a shoebox in there as a spot for the treasure hunts before, you remember?" We vaguely do, now that he mentions it, but I'm surprised TJ does. He was even younger. Then the door opens and Inji comes back out. His facial expression is completely different now. It's one of amazement and disbelief, but it's what's in his paws that catches my attention. It's a teal-colored shoebox, only worn through the corners. My mouth drops. Inji stands there for a moment, holding the box out. "Is this it?" "It's not mine. There's a piece of paper inside." He shakes his paws shake as he reaches out to take the box, lifting the lid to look inside. "It was in the spot that you said. I've never seen that before." My stomach twists, more dismay than anything when we found something. "Do you not use that closet?" It's a bit of an odd question, but I want to know how the hell he might have missed it. Inji shakes his head. "No, not really. It's mostly a storage room right now. I think I've opened a few times with boxes on the shelf, but I can't really remember." "Did you not look inside when you first moved in?" She looks at me, and so does TJ over his shoulder. I guess now I'm sounding like the crazy person. "Well, I can't really remember. It was a couple years ago. I had family help me move them in, so Maybe they just thought it was mine if they saw it. I want to ask more, but I bite my lip, not wanting to seem as frustrated and suspicious as I am. It's definitely something I could miss. I found a few things in the crawl space from last family. Who lived here before you, if you don't mind me asking? He leans against the doorway, his arms folded, looking a lot more relaxed now. It was the family you're talking about, I think. The Bronsons. Yes. EJ's still looking down at the box, having not taken out the note. Yep, the woman who lived here before moved out right after what happened, but then her sister moved in. She told me what happened when I bought the place. He looks down at the box that TJ's holding. Do you know what he left you? How did you know to find it? It's, an old scavenger hunt that we found. It told us to come here. Like something left behind? Yeah. Wow, well, really sorry what happened to your friend. You must have been children at the time. No one says anything, so I nod for him. I'm sorry. Also sorry for being so suspicious when you guys showed up. Oh, I caught someone trying to break in a few days back. Can't be too careful. Don't worry about it. That's completely understandable. Benji nods and shifts around. I don't want to pry, but what does it say? I didn't read its little and intrude or anything. Judy lifts the lids again and reaches in to pull out the piece of paper. It's identical to the others that we've seen. Benji takes the bus and links so we can use both paws to unfold the note. Then he starts reading. I hope that you're all having fun. Soon you'll know what Chase has done. Figure it out, it's a piece of cake. If you can't look by Carl's drawing at the lake. It goes quiet for a while. The only sound is the wind rustling through the trees. Then I hear a gagging sound and look back in time. Look back just in time to see Carl hurling into some bushes. TJ is strangely calm as we sit in the motel room. It's been about half an hour since we found the last note. After Carl lost his lunch in the bushes, Julian drew him back home. We had to put the scavenger hunt on hold. TJ wants us all to be there for it. Julian is still with us, and I keep wondering when the hell he's going to go home. We just joined a group today, and TJ acts like he needs to be part of this for some reason. He barely even knew Sydney. But that doesn't really matter. This whole thing is so ridiculous. It's so obvious that Sydney had nothing to do with this scavenger hunt. Someone is planting these damn notes and they have it out for me. I sit with my back against the headboard of the bed, staring at my legs as TJ tries to defend this whole thing. If it's really bothering you, Chase, then you don't have to come. Bristle a little bit. You're insisting everyone else go, why not me? I force myself not to look over at Julian. I do want you to come, but you're so angry. I've never seen you like this. Oh, I have. We all have. Chase is acting like his old self now. Jenna sits in the corner on her laptop as usual, smirking. It pisses me the fuck off. Listen, whoever's writing these has it out for me. Look at what the last one said. Sydney wrote that they always kind of tease you. It's just like him. I go quiet, looking away with a glare. What do you think the clues are implying about you, Chase? I think from his heart with all the anger that keeps me threatening to bubble to the surface. I don't know. I just don't like the sound of it. And honestly, I try to think of the right way to word what I'm going to say. If you respect me, you'd see that and stop this stupid hunt. He goes quiet for a moment, then Julian stands up. Hey, I'm gonna head out. Well, let me know what you guys decide to do tomorrow. I've got the whole day off. Oh, okay, thanks, man. Thanks so much for coming. There goes the stag aside, and I try to keep myself from bristling. Once Julian leaves out the door, she just sits on the foot of the bed looking at me. I completely respect you, Chase, but I really think these are from Sydney. He's just teasing you. I don't say anything, choosing to look at the wall, feeling more unnerved by my own emotions than anything else. I don't feel like myself at all. I know I asked you this morning, but if you think this is someone else is doing, who could it be? Jenna crosses her arms, looking at me earnestly. I sit there quiet for a moment, debating whether or not I should tell them. Decide I have to, since neither of the others seem to see it. I think it's Flynn. What? I think it's Flynn and Carl. They're doing this whole thing. You can't be serious. Who else? Carl's the one that found the first note. I think Flynn gave it to him. I look on Jen and TJ's face, but face doesn't look away again. Am I going crazy? Chase, that's crazy, I know, but you saw how Carl was acting, how nervous he was, he even threw up. Carl does that sometimes. Ugh. Slid my legs off the bed and let them hang over the side, fully facing the wall now. I know how Flynn was back at the river, but even he wouldn't do that. I continued with a glare. What about these texts he's sending you? What? TJ's paw flies to his pocket, a shocked look on his face. Jenna looks between us. What? Flynn sent TJ a text swearing at him. I think he's been messaging you this whole time. TJ's quiet, just staring at me. TJ, is that true? TJ stares at the floor for a moment before finally looking up, his voice oddly calm. Yeah, well, he's angry. Of course he would be, but he has no reason breaking the scavenger hunt. Flynn would never do that. You sure about that? TJ grins back at me, now I can tell I made him angry. Yes. Why would he do it in the first place? I don't have to think harder than that one. To hurt TJ, to ruin our friendship, making up lies about me, to just be a complete dick. Take your pick. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't say anything, choosing to glare at the wall. Joe is busying us again and shakes her head. Alright, that's enough of this. Neither of you are acting like yourself, so I think it's best we head to bed, alright? Whatever. I slide into the bed at my side, still staring at the wall, listening to TJ as he gets up and goes into the bathroom. Jenna goes on typing on her computer. I lay there quietly, deciding that I'm going to have to do something to stop this. Sneaking out of the motel room is probably the hardest part. I know that if they catch me at any point, it's over. At about 3 a.m., I slide out of bed, listening to TJ's snores and watching Jenna's unmoving form curled up in the bed in front of me. Quietly, I dig around in my bag for my keys, then slip out the door into the night. I grip my teeth as my car starts up, imagining TJ or Jenna pulling back the curtains and seeing me sitting in the car. I got excuses. I'm sick, I had to drive to the emergency room, or even that I just couldn't sleep and wanted to get a snack somewhere. They're all suspicious, which should be enough to cover my ass if things go south. I drive along the quiet road, my surroundings almost black as the moon is set. It takes me a moment to find the side road that will take me to the shore. Once I do, I see one lonely orange light glaring in the middle of the parking lot. Park away from it at the edge of the lot. It's dark here. I sit in the car for a while, wondering what I'm doing, wondering what the fuck I'm going to do. Something drives me. I feel that if I don't do this, then the rest of my life is going to be ruined. I can't let that happen. I open the door quickly and get out. I pull out my phone and turn on the light, finding the small dirt trail that leads out into the inky blackness. The air is cool and I can smell the lake. Pretty soon I can hear it too, the soft, desolate silence of the waves running against the thin strip of shore. It's peaceful, but at the same time it terrifies me. And for a moment I feel like the lake is one giant living thing. It dwarfs me with its presence, a giant, all-knowing thing. It knows I'm here. I shudder and force myself to continue. I find the shoreline and the dry sand shift under my feet as I take a right and follow the shore. I try to ignore the sounds of the lake, the feeling that it's watching me, beckoning me towards it. Finally, I come across the bullet that I'm looking for. The one that Carl used to carve his drawings into. Of course it would be something Carl used. That fat piece of shit. I kneel down beside it, moving the light of the phone around until I find the drawings. I look at the Superwolf etched into the rock, glaring, and I see a glint of light above it. I shift the phone light up to see what it is. I gasp and I can't help but a ragged scream from escaping my throat. A tarantula sits there staring back at me, its cluster of eyes shining back in the darkness. I stumble back in the sand and fall, sitting down hard and causing my teeth to clack together. I scramble back up, look around for a rock, and quickly find one. When I turn back around and lift the light, the spider is gone. Look around for a while in case it just moved around, maybe on the ground closer to me. I don't see anything though, and I throw the rock at the lake, cursing the damn thing. Then I kneel down and look at the spot between the rocky ground and the boulder. It takes a few moments and I have to get real close, looking deeper into the crevice, and then there's a glint of what looks like metal. I start to dig, feel it first with my bare hands, and with the help of a flat rock laying nearby. I'm sweating and gasping by the time I pull the thing free. It looks like an old lunchbox. I shine a light on it, I can barely make out what looks like a cartoon dragon. I open it and pull out the note. I read it. In a fit of rage, I tear the stupid thing in half, throwing it on the ground. You fucker! I hiss it out through my teeth and pull out the piece of paper that I'd taken out of Jenna's notebook, slowed with a pen. I write for a moment using the old lunchbox as a flat surface. When I'm done, I drop it into the box and wedge the box in a crevice, covering up with the loose dirt I'd moved. I pack it down, then stand back up. Thinking twice, I pick up the shredded note and stuff it in my pocket. Then I walk back to the shore and up the trail, knowing what looks like the eye shine of tarantulas all around me. Maybe just the stars. I don't remember much of the drive back or the parking lot of the motel. The next thing I know, I'm standing next to the bed, glaring down at TJ, watching him sleep. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? That's only 50 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. We arrived at the lake at about 10 in the morning. Julian had driven down an hour ago to pick us up before driving to Carl's house. Carl wasn't ready when we got there, and when he entered the door, his eyes were bleary and red. It took him a good 20 minutes to get ready, and all the while I struggled not to glare at him. It's weird, I've been friends with the Ram for almost my entire life, and it's only now that I'm feeling real disgust with the person that he is. So many self-created problems. Keeps his head down most of the time, so he doesn't see me. I'm still feeling sick too, so he opts to ride in the truck bed on the way down, and Jenna sits with him. I can't help but wonder what might happen if we have an accident. TJ sits next to me, and this time I'm sure to sit in the middle so that TJ's on the left and TJ's on my right. It feels better this way. As the lake comes into view, I rest a paw on TJ's knee. He glances at me, then nods in acknowledgement. I give him this, I think I give his thigh a squeeze and wait as we pull into the parking lot, going over the snares in my head for what might happen. Well, here we are. You don't say anything in response, so we quietly get out of the truck. Jenna jumps out of the truck bed easily, but Carl struggles, and I imagine him falling straight out and face plant in the asphalt. Jenna helps him, though, and then we're all walking down the trail to the lake, single file. I walk right behind TJ, though, so keep an eye on him and anyone else who might try to fuck with him. Wow, it's been 12 years since I've been down here. Yeah. There's a cool freshness to the air by the lake. I breathe it in and get hit with the sweet memories of spending entire days down here. Swimming in the lake, building sand castles, poking our dead fish on the beach. As we start walking on the beach and approach the big boulder, I feel my heart start to hammer in my chest. I got my speed to catch up to TJ. How are you feeling? I'm okay. You don't sound okay. I'm nervous. We all are. I actually feel like I'm gonna throw up. He suddenly reaches out his paw and holds mine. I'm surprised. He's never done this before, and though I know it's probably due to the situation we're in, it still makes me feel warm inside. It's gonna be okay, I know it. This is going to be the end. His voice breaks up on the last word. The end? The end of what exactly? His guilt over Sydney? The mystery of what exactly happened to him? Of the world as we know it? Yeah, that's probably it. Because I know that after this morning, things are never going to be the same again. Just remember that if it's buried by that boulder, it's probably gone by now. I know I've said that every time before, but the lake has flooded a few times since. Like up at the steep rocky bank on our right. Remember that spring that it all went all the way up to the road? Yeah. Look back at our friends. Jenna's walking side by side with Carl, talking to him in a low voice. Julian is ahead of them and is looking directly at me. I look away. I'm just saying that even if it's there, it's probably water damage to the point that we won't be able to read it. DJ stays silent, just becomes the rock sitting there on the beach like it has since I can remember. Probably like it has before the lake was even created. DJ stills. I pause. Julian, Jen, and Carl stand next to us, the five of us in a sort of semicircle around the boulder. Well, here we are. Julian says the exact same thing he said in the parking lot, and I feel myself starting to get annoyed. But I cling to TJ's paw, and that calms me down a little. So if it's still here, it could be anywhere, knowing Sydney, Dennis says his name carefully. You probably leave a marker of some kind. This one could be hard to find. Remember what he says by Carl's drawing it, probably right next to that. I don't know, guys. The other ones were inside of something. This is just out on the beach. The sand's changing all the time. Carl digs the damp sand with a huff, his paws shoved into his pockets, eyes downcast. Everything okay, Carl? I say it sharply, not bothering to filter out the annoyance in my voice. He looks up at me a bit surprised. Oh, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just feeling sicker than the ride down. Smoke too much? Carl frowns. No, I just get sick sometimes when I'm stressed out. The weed makes me feel less sick, actually. I stop myself from asking what it is he's so stressed out about. Are you okay, Chase? I'm good. I shouldn't be drawing attention to myself right now. Meanwhile, Julian is walking around the boulder looking for the drawing. TJ lets go of my paw phone and starts to walk around the boulder from the other side. Almost immediately, he points excitedly. Oh, Carl, you're drawing! Carl sidles up next to him before chuckling quietly. Oh yeah, for some reason I thought it'd be gone by now. Why would it be? You chipped into the rock. Didn't you spend like a month doing that? Carl looks down at his paws. Yeah, I thought my paws up doing it too. I move around to stand next to them and see the rough outline of a muscular wolf with a long cape. Super Wolf. Carl been obsessed with that superhero since the new movie was coming out that summer. I don't think he liked it very much because right after he saw it, he stopped working on the etching. It's actually pretty good, especially when you consider that Carl was like 9 when he did it. I pushed those memories out of my head, wiping out the smiling, childhood face of Carl from my mind. Then I steel myself, prepping for what I'm going to say and what's about to happen. Hey, look at the sand underneath it. Everyone looks down in the unison at where I'm pointing my finger. I let it sink in for a moment before I say it. The dirt, it looks like someone dug it up recently. No one says anything. Or maybe the sand's just wetter there, I don't know. Peter kneels down next to the boulder, reaching out, a paw steadying himself against it as Julian kneels down across from him. He reaches out with the other paw, poking the loose-looking dirt slightly darker than sand around it. Still, no one says anything. I decide not to push it further, knowing that I'd already planted a seed of doubt in TJ's mind. We should have grabbed a garden shovel from your house, Carl. Yeah. Pick up the flat rock I used last night. Here. I hand it to Julian. He looks at it for something for digging the sharp end into the dirt. It sinks in deep and easily before the stag turns out the sand. Less than a minute later, TJ gasps and reaches into the shallow hole, pulling out the lunchbox. Now that there's daylight, I can see the chipped green paint on the dragon. TJ holds it for a moment, staring down at it. Julian looks around at us. Was that Sydney's? Can't remember, but TJ nods with shaking hands, unlatched the metal clasps. Carl stands further back than the rest of us, motionless. Jenna once again has a paw up to her mouth, not saying anything. TJ opens the lid. The hinges squeak a little as the tin lid flops open, revealing my note. Paws still shaking, TJ reaches in. There's a little hesitation in TJ's movements. He's eager to find out what it says, eager to get this done. TJ unfolds a note, then reads it. He doesn't read it aloud, instead letting his eyes go back and forth over the page while the rest of us wait. I know at this point that he's reading, but he doesn't say anything, eyes glued to the page. TJ? TJ doesn't say anything, continues to stare. TJ, what does it say? TJ sits there for a few more seconds before he wordlessly holds out the note to no one in particular. His face is blank for the most part, I can see the shock in his eyes. Julian takes it from him and starts reading. You've reached the end, but I don't have the answer, and I'll let someone ask again. TJ, what happened to Sydney? The silence that follows is one of the heaviest I've ever experienced. Carl's still frozen, but now he's looking up at Julian. Jen has moved her paw from her mouth at this point, but she's clutching her necklace, her eyes on TJ. Julian is just staring at the links, waiting, probably unsure what any of this means. TJ stares at the that we dug up, his paws laying limp in his lap, ears drooping. Start walking over to him. What does it mean? Do you guys know? I rest upon TJ's shoulder, touching it softly. He doesn't move, so I crouch down next to him, slowly wrapping an arm around his shoulders, drawing him in. I feel him trembling. Guys? I look over at Joel with a sad look on my face. We had a we have a friend who has a grudge about this whole thing. I think he might have been the one leaving the notes. JJ shakes his head against him and doesn't say anything. Julian stares. But why? I shrug, beginning to stroke the top of TJ's head. Julian looks from me to TJ. I don't know. Maybe he thought this was his last chance to hurt TJ somehow. I really don't know. Jenna and Carl have walked up to stand next to us and both seemed at a loss for words. The paper is different, though. TJ's voice is distant and faint, muffled against my chest. There are ways to make paper look old. Maybe he just didn't have time with this one. Julian shakes his head. Listen, I know I've only been a part of this for a day, but this is crazy. And those are a lot of assumptions. Do you really know what happened? If you knew this friend of ours like we do, you'd understand how obvious this is. But then Jenna shakes her as well. No, Flynn wouldn't do this. He's a jerk, but he wouldn't do this. You know that Flynn's been sending TJ threatening message texts all week, and that he's been trying to fuck with TJ since we got here. Jenna shakes her head again, but doesn't say anything. He wouldn't. Snap my gaze at Carl, glaring. Dude, even if it's the worst, he'd never do something like this. It's too fucked up. All of that work to just fuck with Sydney, fuck with us has to do with Sydney? No. And who found the first note? Who's been Flynn's best friend since we all left? Whoa, Chase. Carl's eyes go wide. TJ finally lifts his head, looking up at Carl. You're the one that gave it to us. Set us off on this whole bullshit scavenger hunt. Carl takes a step back, mouth hanging open, looking at me like I'm some sort of alien or something. This entire thing was fucking crazy from the start. Our dead friend who left notes behind a decade ago, and somehow it's all still here in the old school in that house. Fuck that! Jay, stop it. Jenna's voice is soft and distant, lacking any sort of authority. I stand up suddenly, staring the ram down. What? Oh no! Carl takes another step back and sees his chest heaving. He can't even get his words out. It's like he's just run a marathon and can't catch his breath. Huh? I don't. Carl clutches his chest and I can't help but notice how fucking guilty he looks right now. He suddenly retches and gags loudly. Carl, breathe. No, you can't use your fucking anxiety! I make air quotes. You monster. As a shield right now. Did Flynn put you up to this? Carl retches again and doubles over, spitting on the ground. Carl? He starts walking toward the ram, but at that moment something rushes past me, then past Jenna. To see TJ's back. His tufted ears are laid flat against his head like he's moving so fast that the wind just pushed them back. It's another quick movement that I can't quite see from my angle. But then Carl's stumbling back, a palm to his face, and in a gasp like he's been holding his breath for 10 minutes. He'll lunge forward, reaching out for TJ as the cat goes in for another swipe. Carl jumps back toward the embankment, and as he does, he lands on the many rocks that separate the beach from the road. I grab the back of TJ's shirt, and at the same time I see Carl's hoof disappear between the rocks, and he falls back. And then there's a sound like a thick branch snapping in two, cutting through the air like a gunshot. Immediately, Carl lets out the most hideous scream I've ever heard the ram make. No! Jenna runs past us, followed by Julian at a more even jog. Meanwhile, I hold on to TJ, the leg still going after Carl, making a yowling sound as his claws swipe at the air, burying his teeth. He's wild, feral, not thinking at all. TJ, stop, I'm here. I try talking to Lynx's ear, and at the same time I feel him starting to go limp in my grasp, the energy and rage really going out of him. I finally feel safe enough to turn him around, pulling him into a hug. It's okay, you got him, you're fine. TJ looks toward Carl one last time, watching the ram roll back and forth on his back, choking, howling, and screaming all at once. Oh my god! TJ suddenly turns his face to my chest and starts to cry. Jesus, his ankle! Carl, can you move? But Carl wasn't listening, continued to scream and hyperventilate at the same time. Call an ambulance! I don't know who she's talking to, but Julian pulls out his phone. TJ continues to sob on my chest and I start to move away toward the trail, pulling TJ with me. I'm taking TJ back to the motel. Yes, leave, please! Jenna snarls over her shoulder. We need paramedics. Yeah, someone here tripped and broke his leg and now he can't get up. Carl? Carl, I know it hurts, but I need you to breathe. I'm going to count. His voice fades away as I start fast walking toward the trail, pulling the sobbing TJ along with me. TJ finally pulls away from me when we reach the parking lot and starts walking ahead, hugging himself. I follow behind him at a close distance, listening to him sob for a while. It isn't until we reach the road that he's finally calmed down enough to stop sobbing. I walk quietly behind him for a little bit longer before finally catching up, walking next to him. He doesn't say anything and goes on hugging himself, hiccuping softly every once in a while. I wonder if I should say anything, ask him what happened, or even change the subject completely. Eventually, though, he's the one to speak first. I didn't mean to. I thought as he goes into a coughing fit, I rub him on the back gently. It's okay. You have to explain yourself for what he did. Do you think... She takes a deep breath, finally studying his words. Do you think he really did that? I let the silence drag out a moment before finally replying. Who else could it have been? I completely understand why you went along with all those notes, but in the end, this was only the realistic conclusion we were going to get. Yeah, I just didn't think they'd do something like this. Especially Carl. He just says Carl's name softly. I still don't know if he did it, but when I remember what he said when he played Spin the Bottle, I felt like it had to be him. I was just so angry. I've never been so angry in my life. It was scary. I mean, maybe Flynn didn't tell him everything about what was going on. I guess he could have been tricked into thinking Flynn somehow had good intentions in all of this. I don't know. His leg? He covers his face like he's about to start crying again. I quickly put my arm around him and hold him close. Hey, this isn't your fault. Honestly, he deserved that scratch he gave him. He fell on his own. He shakes his head. I can't even remember what happened. I just started writing up like I wasn't in control. It was all automatic or something. Him, too. TJ. Stop the link and turn him toward me, even though he keeps covering up his face. This is not your fault. What Flynn and Carl did to you was absolutely disgusting, and honestly, I'm amazed you were able to hold yourself back as much as you did. The sounds he was making, it sounded so awful. His face screws up under his paws. I hug him again. No, he only had a taste of the pain you're feeling on the inside. Now stop thinking about him. It's over. This whole thing is over. He just starts crying softly on at home clothes, let him get out of his system. Over his shoulder, I can see the ambulance lights flashing, though they don't have the siren on. I'm thankful for that, at least. My phone buzzes in my pocket a few times, but I ignore it, waiting until the Lynx's soft sobs taper out. I turn him away from the lake so he doesn't see the lights, and we keep walking slowly up the road. Less than a mile away, the motel sign glints in the sunlight. TJ shuffles along, continuing his quiet snuffling. Did you want to leave today? I don't know, maybe. Well, let's get back to the motel and sit down for a while, okay? Then we can decide what we want to do. Okay. I have a lot of things to say about this route, but I feel I should leave them to the end, because, yeah, I don't want to interrupt the, moments, because, fuck. TJ's breathing evens out again if he could go to the motel. But why do you think Flynn would do that? It doesn't make any sense. I shrug. Well, like I said yesterday, I think now that he knows he isn't going to get the answers he wants, he's just out to hurt us now. That's it, really. You were right. I guess I just didn't think he could be capable of that. I mean, you always see the best in people. There's nothing wrong with that. He doesn't respond. We're silent the rest of the way there. The first thing TJ does when we get inside is lay in the bed and stare at the ceiling. I check my text and see they're all from Jenna. They say Carl just broke his ankle. It's going to be fine. Join us or meet at the hospital so we can sit with Carl and bring him back when we're done. By the way, when they asked Carl what happened, he said he just slipped in a rock and fell. He said that's where the scratch came from, too. I assume he doesn't want us to tell anyone about what happened. You should think about checking out early. I'm probably going to a friend's house in Badenham after this. I stare at the last test, wondering what exactly it means. Just going to a friend's house and that's just it? Almost sounds like she's just done with us. I guess one good thing came out of this then. Carl's going to be fine. He told the paramedics that he slipped in the rock, so I don't think he's going to be, like, pressing charges or anything. TJ covers his face, and I hope he doesn't have to cry again. When he starts talking, his voice is steady and even. I'm going to have to see him before we leave. I don't want to leave him in this town. Leave this town like this. Sounds defeated, like he knows things are now ruined beyond any sort of repair. I suddenly feel a wave of compassion and love for Lynx, the one purely good person in this shit town. I get out and drape myself over the bed next to TJ. He looks up in surprise, ears perked and twitching, his tufts waving around in the most adorable way. Listen, I know we can't just ignore what happened back there, and I know we can't fix everything, but I pause and wait till TJ looks up at me. I want to spend the rest of this weekend together and just have fun. There's not really much else we can do. TJ looks up at the ceiling. But what about your project? I laugh. Dude, that doesn't matter anymore. I'll just retake the class over the summer or something. It doesn't sound good. I don't want to cause you to fail. You're not. I'm making this decision. TJ continues to stare at the ceiling, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I don't know. It doesn't feel right. I just broke Carl's leg. Carl fell and broke his leg, TJ. No, I didn't. Things are so messed up now. His voice starts to go up high again, and I quickly put a paw on his shoulder. Shh, we can't think about that anymore. It's over. I rub his shoulder comfortingly. You know what? Let's go to Peyton. Get out of this crappy town and do something, okay? He lets out a shuddery sigh. Maybe I just need a minute. Okay. I roll over and look out the window through the blinds, feeling like I've accomplished something. Things were a little further from what I'd planned on, but it's working out for the best. My main issue now is figuring out what the hell Flynn and Carl were playing with all that bullshit. When all they know. Assuming it had been them at all, but as of now, I can't imagine what else it could have been. I feel a little guilty about what happened to Carl, but I have to show everyone how crazy and stupid this whole thing was. Just then, I see Flynn's truck roll into the parking lot. I tense up, staring in disbelief. What the hell reason would he have to come here? I'm only frozen up for a moment before I suddenly swing lights off the bed. I don't know if TJ's looking. I hope not as I start closing the blinds. I'll close these so the sun isn't shining in your eyes, and I'm gonna make a call to Jenna to make sure things are going alright, okay? Back in her relieved to see TJ only now looking over at me. Okay, tell her I'm sorry. I will, now get some rest. I try not to look like I'm in a hurry as I go out the door and open it just wide enough for me to slide out. Flynn's truck pulls in the parking space about 20 feet away and I jog over him before he can get out. Hey! I see just he opens his door. He looks at me coldly from over getting out and slamming the door shut. Hey! I stand there awkwardly for a full 10 seconds, but Flynn doesn't say anything. You need something? Why do you think I'm here, Chase? Shrug. I have no idea, Flynn. Flynn stares at me for a few more seconds as he chews at a toothpick in his mouth. You were down by the lake. That's a really weird thing to assume, Flynn. Flynn scoffs. Don't play with me. I see him when slides over by the lake, and 10 minutes later I get a text from Carl. Tell him he hurt his leg. Really, Flynn? People go down by the lake all the time. It could have been anyone. No one goes down by the lake. I know you've been sneaking around the town doing shady shit with TJ and Jen. Keep his on a straight face, refusing to crack under Flynn's pressure. The only reason why I didn't ask you what the fuck you were doing is because I know you all hate me right now. But if you really went down there together, that's fucked. Why is that fucked, Flynn? Because you decided it's off limits for everyone else? Because it makes you feel bad? Fuck off. Flynn's eyes widened for a moment. Do not fuck with me on this, Chase. You know that's the last thing I ever want to hear from you. It's strange how I feel right now. Normally I'd be trying to calm the lizard, trying to talk him through his temper and past trauma. But now I don't care. Just like with Carl, I don't care how far this goes. This is his fault in the end. I can't believe you, Flynn. You start this whole thing and now you try to act like the victim. It's fucking disgusting. Flynn gives me a baffled look. What are you talking about? You mean that what I said by the river? Actually, yeah, that was probably the start of it. How does that lead to you assholes fucking around by the lake? You know exactly how. I watch Flynn carefully, trying to see if I can sense anything in his demeanor and in his expressions. I've never really known him to lie, but if he's lying right now, then he's fucking amazing at it, because all I can sense is bewilderment. He must have a lot of experience with lying. Chase, what the fuck is up with you right now? What do you mean? You're acting like an ass. Oh, so now you know. So now you know how we all feel when you talk to us. Flynn stares at me, studying me, then he looks up. Who's here? No one. The fuck? Where's TJ and Jenna? Not here. Flynn glances down at me. Well, I gotta take a piss so I can come in. No. We stare each other down for a long, long time. Finally, Flynn pushes past me. Well, I'm gonna give the door a knock to see if anyone's there. Maybe you missed them. I whirl around and follow him angrily. He doesn't want to talk to you. Flynn turns on me. Oh, so TJ's here then. Why didn't you tell me that? Why do you think... Flynn, you need to leave right now. Flynn glares down at me. I know you guys are up to something having to do with Sydney. If that's the case, then I have every right to know. Flynn starts walking again. And he has every right to talk to me himself. I dart around Flynn's stand in front of the lizard, glaring up and embracing myself once again. Get out of the way, Chase. Leave him alone. Flynn pauses. All I want to do is talk, that's it. I let out a mirthless laugh. After what you did at the river, hell no. Flynn tries to push around me again. I grab his arm. He swings, tries to yank it back, and I shove him back towards his truck. Leave! I'd be yelling right now, but I don't want Teach to hear us through the thin motel walls. Don't fucking touch me! Get out of my fucking way! Tries again, and this time I grab his arm and yank him away, swinging him like Leo did at the river. He might be tall, but I'm kind of amazed how easily I can manipulate Flynn's body like a mannequin. Either that, or I just don't know my own strength. Flynn rolls up the curse and immediately pops back up, taking an awkward swing at my head. Fucking little prick! I duck his punch and tack him around the waist, knocking his boat to the asshole as Flynn grunts loudly. I scramble on top of the lizard and sit in his chest, pinning his arms under my knees. Again, he can barely move under me. Weak. I snarl down him, raising a fist. Flynn flinches, closing his eyes, and turns his head away. I pause, letting the tension build. Finally, I slowly lower it. Leave, Flynn, otherwise I'm gonna cave your fucking face in. I'm tired of you bullying TJ and taking out all your problems on the rest of us and just being a miserable piece of shit all your life. Get my voice low, almost growling like a canine. Flynn cracks open an eye, looking up at me in fear. I fucking hate you. I always have, and you deserve to have every single one of your fucking teeth knocked out for the way you've always treated us. Back toward the door, but it's closed, quiet. Look back down at Flynn. Leave, and I never want to see your ugly fucking face again, understand? Flynn just stares up at me. I can see the fear still, maybe even a little hurt. What happened, Chase? I don't say anything. I know he isn't going to fight anymore. I get up and Flynn lays there for a moment staring at me. Finally, he rolls over and gets to his feet unsteadily. Then, without a word, gets back into his truck and starts it up. Turn away finally, hearing the lizard pull out of the parking lot as I open the door of the motel. I'm relieved to see TJ sit in the bed, looking down on his phone. It's positive that he hears something. He looks up when he hears the door open. Hey. Hey, Teach. What did she say? Carl's good. The doctors are checking him out. She said you're fine and that she understands why you did it, but I guess she's a little stressed out, too, because she's going to a friend's house in Peyton. Oh. His ears lower. I think she just wants to give you space. Maybe. I did get a text from Julian. Oh, really? There's that twinge of irritation. Yeah, he said he was going to stop by after he drops off Carl. I was thinking we could wait until then before we leave to talk to Julian at least. I don't think Carl wants to see me. Okay. Try not to let the anger creep into my voice as I sit down on the bed next to the Lynx. And Chase? Yeah? He just smiles at me through his puffy eyes and matted cheek fur. Thank you for being there for me. It means a lot. It's late afternoon by the time Julian arrives to pick us up from the motel. Things are predictably awkward at first as the stag drives out of the town in silence. I'm just happy that I've managed to sit between him and TJ again, leaving the Lynx to stare out his window as the desert landscape passes by. I watch Julian as he thumbs some steps idly at the steering wheel before he suddenly sits up straight. Oh, Chase, you left your camera in the truck base yesterday. I forgot to tell you. He glances over at me and I nod. Oh yeah, probably should have remembered that. Do you want me to pull over so you can grab it now? I don't know how you feel about it sliding back there while on the highway. I shrug. Should be fine. It's probably been through worse considering it's a crap rental from the university. Ah. Julian starts tapping away at the steering wheel again. So, your friend seems okay. He'll need to rest for a few months to recover, but he didn't seem too worried about that. I snort. Of course not. Yeah, anyway, what was you guys wanted to do? Julian leans forward a bit to glance at TJ. I just wish he'd kept his fucking eyes on the road. I nudge the Lynx and he snaps his gaze from the window to look at us. Eh? I was asking what you wanted to do tonight, TJ. Oh, I'm not really sure. We could go see a movie, maybe. Anything out you wanted to see? Yeah, not really. You know, we used to do this thing where I'd get a random ticket to a movie I'd never heard of before. I'd have no expectations, so usually I'd be pleasantly surprised. Well, that sounds kind of fun, as long as it's not R-rated. Yeah, so the way I do, why don't we go to the Familyplex? I cut Julian off, looking over at TJ. Familyplex? You remember that place, right? We'd go there as kids for birthdays and stuff. The old rundown arcade thing by the mall? Yeah. It seems to perk up a bit. I haven't been there for like 10 years. That could be a lot of fun. If it's still open, I haven't been to that place and been to that quarter of the mall in a long time. It is. Well, alright then, so should we go there? There's a moment of silence before TJ sits next to me. Yeah, let's do that. Familyplex is basically as I remember it. Like TJ had said, a good decade had passed since we'd been there, maybe more. But the ugly stained carpet and sickly colored walls still cover the place, a real relic of the 80s and 90s. Still, I'm happy to see TJ smile as we walk in, his adorably wide eyes scan the place, as I'm sure he's hit with that same sense of nostalgia. Oh my gosh, everything is exactly the same. The look on Julian's face is slightly less enthusiastic. Even smells the same. I kinda like it reminds me of a movie theater. Same. It's really just the popcorn recycled air from the AC. I realize then what a fucking stick in the mud Julian is, but I ignore him. Instead, following TJ's to make our way to the machines. Luckily, the place is mostly empty. There's a group of teenagers being loud and annoying over by the air hockey tables, but otherwise we have the place to ourselves. For a moment, we just stand there, then Julian reaches into his pocket. You guys want to chip in some money and I can go get us a few rolls of quarters? I take out a 5 and so does Julian, while TJ hands over a 10. Wow, team, that's a lot. I only have 10s, besides, we go through them fast, we always do. Julian walks off just to the front counter while TJ and I wait awkwardly next to the skee-ball ramp. Skee-ball, man, good god. I swear, arcades are such a lost, I went to them, all the time when I was younger, and, something about, the card just doesn't have the same feeling to it, you know? If you're old enough to, well, if you're not old enough to remember this, you shouldn't be watching the series, to be completely honest, but whatever. Yeah, the tickets, when they actually just put out the real tickets, oh my god, that's the best. Actually makes you feel like you did something. I remember one time, basically, me and my dad used to always go down to Tennessee, technically go down to Tennessee before, Gatlinburg, Tennessee. There was a few arcades there. And I went to one time, and there was that fishing game where you, spin the wheel, and I got, 1,000 tickets in that. That was, so cool. I mean, yeah, I don't even remember how old I was at the time. I just remember how awesome that was. Man, I feel like things wouldn't be so tense if Julian wasn't here, and I feel myself getting progressively annoyed by his presence. About to ask TJ how he's feeling when Julian comes back with 2 rolls of quarters. So, we have 2 rolls. You want me to count out your shares, or...? I shake my head. Doesn't matter. Yeah, we're just here to hang out anyway. He takes one of the rolls and tears off one end. You guys want a skee ball? Sure, I've always been pretty good with this game. Fucking skee ball, man. I miss being innocent, not knowing about crap. You know, I just miss that. I miss that. I take the open roll of quarters from TJ and take out one of my own and insert it into the neighboring skee-ball machine. There are only two, and I kind of hope that Julian might just wander away, but he stays right there behind TJ watching. I sigh and insert my coin, watching as the little balls roll around the little compartment. Meanwhile, TJ's having a terrible time, each one of his balls rolling into the scoreless gutter. Oh, one of those guys, huh? Yeah. Sucks to be you. Yeah, my dad, he taught me some tricks for skee-ball. I like how talking about my dad as if he was a good dad, and, he was not a good dad. He was a fucking abusive cunt white, but, obviously I still have good memories with him. I roll my first ball and watch as it misses the 40 and rolls into the 10 gutter. Oof. Don't worry about it, Teach. Want me to show you how? So I move next to me and I grit my teeth in annoyance, moving over a bit. And Stag flicks the ball expertly down the ramp and it lands squarely in the 40. Wow, on your first try, too. Honestly, I'm out of practice, but usually go for the 100 in the corner. How do you do it? Well... Julian grabs a hold of TJ's wrist and I feel my first starting to stand up my neck and shoulders. It's all on the wrist. He lifts TJ's arm forward before bending the link's wrists. Oh, I see. TJ tries again and this time gets the 10, but on his second try he landed in the 50. Nice! Julian holds up his paw and TJ slaps it loudly. Stag laughs and looks over at me. You alright, Chase? You still got 4 balls. Without a word, I turn back to my machine and huck the balls down the ramp, each one landing in the gutter. Meanwhile, I listen to Julian and TJ celebrate another 50. For the rest of the night, I follow TJ and Julian around, and the Stag showing the cat how best to play the games. All the while, I stand next to them, dumping my cores into games I don't even finish. I just want us to run out so we can leave. Good grief, Chase. You're, I'm not gonna talk about why I like this route, because I feel like that's best saved for the end. The drive back is quite intense. TJ and Julian asked me multiple times at the Famiplex if I was alright until I finally told them I just had a headache. That stopped their questioning for the most part, and luckily that prompted TJ to propose we just go back to the motel. I tense up again after when he offers Julian to spend the night there, but luckily the Stag declines, wanting to go back home to his own bed. As we drive in, notice TJ nodding off, his head bumping the glass of his window. You can lean against me, TJ. TJ's ears flick out, flushing a bit. Oh, really? I mean, I don't wanna... As an answer, I reach over to clasp the side of TJ's face before I force the links of his head to lean sideways against my shoulder. TJ stiffens up and he relaxes, and 5 minutes later, I can tell that he's fallen into a light sleep. Julian glances over at us occasionally, but doesn't say anything. I'll lean my cheek against the top of TJ's head. Good grief, dude. You fucking... I realize how good it feels to sort of envelop him like this. It feels like I'm protecting him. All those bad, tense feelings from the arcade start to melt away. Pretty soon I start to drift off as well, the smooth drone of the highway lulling me to sleep. I open my eyes to see the back of a rusty white sedan pulled off the side of the road. Julian's pulling off as well, behind the car. The sun's already getting low in the sky, a little bit of cloud cover rolling in from the west. That's when I realize there's a large coyote standing next to the car, leaned over and looking at the front left wheel. She stands up when her headlights hit her and she shields her eyes against the light. Janice. Julian shuts his headlights off. Looks like she got a flat. Jenny wakes up and I'm a bit disappointed to feel him shift off my shoulder. What's going on? Julian's already hopping out of the car, walking up to the now grinning Janice as she sits her paws on her hips. Well, now that you are... Well, what are you doing out here, Julie? I can hear her loud, obnoxious voice even with the doors closed. Janice is a flat. Want to go back to sleep until Julian's helped her? TJ shakes his head, shift himself to open the door and hop out. I sigh as he leaves, pushing myself across the seat to jump out as well. Chasing Tobias, too? She turns her psychotic grin on us. Yeah, you're having a night out. Anyway, do you need any help? Well, you know, Julian, I actually do. I don't know my own Jack, missing for the past 15 years. Julian smiles back warmly. Well, I've got one. Do you want a spare? You have a spare? Yep, in the back. Hope it's not flat, too. Haven't had to use that thing in a while. Well, go ahead and pop the trunk and we'll see what we've got. I'll go get my jack. Julian drives back to the truck while TJ and I stand behind Janice's car. Sadly, that's when the old coyote turns her attention on us. Well, how are you two doing this evening? I'm doing well, thanks. I want to thank you again for doing all that yard work during your vacation. Seems I'm always out here just needing help. Oh, it was no trouble at all, ma'am. I'm happy to hear TJ do the talking. Just wanted to get this all over with as soon as possible so that we can head back to the motel. I squint as Julian's headlights come back on. He hops out of his truck. Just want to give us a little more light. Janice pops the trunk and lifts it up, and a cluttered mess inside. She brushes it all aside and lifts up the flap of an old rusty spare tire. She nudges at it, testing the air pressure before lifting it out. Well, it's a little deflated, but it should be enough to get me to Duke's house. I know he's got a few tires I can probably use. If not, I'll just get him to drop out and buy me one. Julian kneels down next to Janice's car, setting up the jack. We stand there in silence for a bit, watching the stag as he works. Speaking of vacation, it wasn't really a vacation for you, was it, Chase? The arc skips a little bit as the dumb Yodi turns her attention on me. I grunt politely and question, keep my gaze on Julian to show Janice I'm definitely not interested in what she has to say. Well, that grumpy lizard Flynn was telling about in the diner a few days back. Something about you want to document the spooky stuff in town. Try to think of a way to keep things interesting, so she doesn't ask any more questions. Sort of, mainly just wanted to find some information on a murder that happened like 100 years ago. Couldn't find much out. Oh, Flynn made it sound more like he was one of those ghost documentaries that I like to watch sometimes. I had a few stories for you. Get my eyes firmly on Julian's paw as he starts to crank the jack. Then TJ nudges me. Hey, are there any rules against it being a ghost documentary? I sigh, though I try to keep it quiet for TJ's sake. Well, it's more of a news piece, so a ghost story wouldn't really work, I don't think. Actually, I've seen segments on the news about ghosts. I don't know if they're serious, but when someone catches something on camera, sometimes they'll play it. I shrug. Well, even if that is the case, it probably won't get me a very good grade. It's better than no grade at all. He just smiles encouragingly at me, and I can't help but smile back. He always has a way of cheering me up no matter how bad of a mood I'm in. That's the spirit. Besides, could just be about the history of it, rather than making it seem real, even if it is real. I sigh again, though this time I don't try to cover it up. Janice either doesn't notice or doesn't care. So would you like to hear then? Yeah, let me grab my notepad real quick. I walk over to Julian's truck, listening to Janice as she babbles excitedly about how scary it is. Try to unzip the bag, but the ledge of the truck is so tall. Truck bed is so tall I have to grab the whole fucking thing and trudge it back over to the car. I unzip the side pocket and pull out my notepad and pen, then I stand up straight and look at Janice expectantly. The coyote sits on the ledge of the trunk, making the car shift. Julian pauses, eyes wide, and I'm sure he thought the sedan was about to topple off of the jack. Well, let's see, I can start with what my grandpa told me. Yeah, that works. Actually, that's great, because this happened right here in these very woods. Janice gestures off the side of the road at the trees. So my grandpa was taking a walk in here with my grandma, I want to say, sometime in the 40s, right after they were married. They were walking along one of the little trails in there. And as they were there, they started hearing this strange sound in the trees, like something scuttling up and down the branches. They kept looking, but couldn't see anything. TJ hugs himself and rolls his arms with his paws. Wow, that's creepy. Oh, that ain't the half of it, Tobias. The thing is, they kept walking. As they kept walking, the sounds followed them, and then... Janice lowered her voice, and despite my annoyance, I have to draw in a bit close to hear her next words. They started to hear it talk. Hear what talk? TJ is fully drawn in by Janice's theatrics, and I have to struggle not to roll my eyes. Well, whatever it was, it started talking down to them. Janice pauses and glances at me to make sure not to give her anything. Staring glassy-eyed at my notepad. What did it say? Well, just strange things like, you're here and I see you. Though my grandpa said he wasn't even sure it was talking to them, really. He said that when it started to laugh, that's when he and Grandma started running, even though it followed them. He said it sounded like it was rising in the air and landed from tree to tree, following them until they got out. At this point, TJ's just frowning. I have to force myself to jot down the stupid notes. Well, what was it? Janice shrugs. Dunno. Grandpa only ever told me the story once when he wouldn't go on a family walk in the forest. I asked him why and he told me. Asked Grandma too, but she just pretended she couldn't hear me. Thing is, Grandpa's not a liar, that I can promise you. I strolled my notepad, pretending to write all this down. Oh, he also said it sounded mechanical, kind of like it was coming through a machine, a computer. That's weird, because they didn't really have those back then. A moment of silence goes by as I wait for Janet to go on. When she doesn't, I look up. So, that's it? Oh yeah, did you think that they'd actually see something? I shrug. Anything else? Janice thinks. Well, there's this bear up the road named Brian. One time he told me a story about seeing some aliens around here, UFOs and such. This time I can't stop my eyes from rolling, but again, Janice either doesn't see or ignores it. Said back when he was a teenager, we saw a flying saucer when he was passing by the lake. I don't even bother to move my pen, but Janice just keeps going. You know, I was listening to this podcast a while back. You know, the radio shows on the internet? Oh yeah, I love listening to those when I work out. Well, there's this paranormal one I listen to that goes really in-depth on this kind of stuff. And you know that we've all heard the story about gold and quartz deposit? Yep. Well, Janice lowered her voice, leaning in like she's just given the best-kept secret in the entire world. In the podcast, they were going on about how a place with lots of quartz ends up being more haunted. You know why? I don't say anything, so TJ chimes in. Why? Well, the quartz captures stuff from the past, like really emotional, angry stuff. And sometimes when things line up just right, they play it back. Only when they do, it's all twisted up and mixed with other stuff. Makes you see really awful and horrible looking. You know? Janice pauses again. What? I think there's more to it than just that. I think there's something with a conscious mind behind it all here in Echo. I'll have to break in. Has anything happened to you specifically? You know, it's better if I have something straight from the source rather than a second hand. Janice finally goes quiet then, eyes flicking down to look at the ground. Julian, meanwhile, is pulling off the tire and is fitting the spare in place. Well, maybe. I grit my teeth. What do you mean? Janice lets out a soft, mirthless chuckle. Let's just say I've seen things I promised I'd not tell anyone about, Chase. I can't tell if she's joking or not, so I just go along with it. Oh, you order a hit on someone? Maybe, Chase. TJ stands there, a mortified expression on his face. I look down at my camera bag. Well, I think it might be good to get some footage of the trees in here while there's still a little light. If I'm gonna do the whole ghost story thing, then I better give it a horror movie vibe. Oh, well, that sounds wonderfully spooky. Start towards the tree line, then look back at TJ. You wanna come with? Oh. TJ looks back at Janice and Julian, the latter of which is screwing in the tire. Go on, TJ, give him some company in there, especially I've told you that story. It was a cackle, okay. Janice cackles, causing the car to shake again. Besides, I don't mind keeping Julian company in the meantime. Julian grunts as he keeps his focus on the tire. Well, okay. With that, TJ and I cross the ditch into the forest, follow a little trail that waves through the trees. As the darkness of the forest engulfs, I look back at TJ and see him timidly moving along, looking at the trees nervously. I grin. Are you scared? TJ looks over at me with a start. Oh, He lets out a soft laugh. Yeah, maybe a little bit. I pause, waiting for the lynx to catch up to me. Then I hold out my paw to him. He stares at it for a moment, if not comprehend what it is. I stubbornly keep it outstretched. Of course you do. No one's gonna see. He just seems to think for a moment. Then I see the lynx wipe his paw on his pants quickly before reaching out to take mine. I pull TJ along through the forest, glancing up occasionally to see if I can find a patch of sky sufficient enough for the shot I want. Don't worry, man, you know I saw something here too. What? TJ's busy looking off into the trees, his ears perked listening. Yep, when I was a kid, I thought I saw a fox hanging from the trees. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me this right now. I frown. Listen, what I realized is that sometimes people hallucinate things. I'd rather just not talk about it right now. All I'm saying is that the stories that Janice told us aren't real, and even if they are, those people probably hallucinated. That's it. Well, sure, but that doesn't mean I won't still freak out if I do see something. Squeeze the Lynx's paw in mine, shaking it around a little. Well, you got me if that happens. GJ squeezes back. There's a slight resistance in his grasp, though, as if he's trying to pull back from me, while at the same time holding on to me. Chance, have you been feeling alright? I feel fine. Stopping the pad, looking up at the little patchy dusty sky above me, almost spherical and perfect for the shot that I'm gonna get. Because you seem a little bit off, especially right at the family plex. And I know we've all been a little off since what happened. I mean, I was feeling really, really weird the past few days. I set the bag in the path, unzipping the main compartment and pulling out the camera. Maybe you're feeling the same way that I was? I shrugged, turning the camera on. I feel fine, Teach. TJ suddenly places a paw on my arm, and that gives me pause. Chase, are you sure? He's looking me directly in the eyes, paw pads warming the fur and skin under them, chasing away the chill of the evening. It's his wide blue eyes that catch my attention, though. They're sincere, kind, and full of love. It's then I realize what TJ's trying to tell me. No, no, dude. No, dude. No, dude. No. 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 After all this time we've spent together over the week, getting to know each other better, talking about our future plans, it's only now that I realize. I stand up straight, facing Liz more directly, a soft smile on my lips. TJ looks at me, eyes looking over my face, as if searching for something. I lean in and kiss him. Holy shit, they added a fuck... You had to add a fucking CG for this, you fucking... God. It lasts for a moment. Our lips meet, mine on his for the first time. It's a moment of pure bliss, and I close my eyes to show the Lynx just how passionate I am about it. I feel his lips freeze up against mine, and then suddenly they're gone. I open my eyes in time to see TJ stumbling backwards. One paw flies to his mouth as the other stretches out behind himself as if worried he's going to run over the trees. I guess I surprised him. I smile and follow the cat, reaching out his my paws. You alright? As I reach for him, he pushes my paws away. I frown. What? What was that? TJ's whispering, but it's loud sort of whisper, almost deafening the quiet forest. What do you mean? I kissed you, TJ. I love you. Look of pure shock and horror on TJ's face stuns me. What? What are you talking about? TJ, you're asking really dumb questions right now. You heard me. I feel myself getting a little irritated. I just bared my soul to him, and now he's acting like I just told him a terrible secret. But, you mean like a friend? No, I mean like a boyfriend, a lover. I reach out again, but this time TJ twists away from me and then starts to back up, back the way we came from. I follow him. Well, how come? I can see his rapid breathing and wide eyes like a cornered animal. I feel myself getting angrier. What do you mean, how come? Do I need to explain it to you? TJ keeps backing up and I see what looks like fear in his eyes. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. He starts to turn around, but I grab his arm. Hey, you flirt with me all fucking week and you're asking me why? What the fuck are you talking about? James, let me go. He tries to pull away weakly, but I yank him forward so hard his teeth clack together in front of my face. He gasps. You made eyes at me across the table at the diner while we're doing yard work at Janice's house, and you don't get why? Why the hell am I getting so angry? Let me go! TJ's still whispering, but it's getting louder. So you were just leading me on? I feel my voice break as it rises in volume as well. What is happening? Why am I doing this? Is this a dream? Were you leading me the fuck on, TJ? I see the tears brimming in TJ's eyes. I see the tears, and he looks away from me like a kid that just got caught doing something wrong. Do I need to tell you again? TJ, I fucking love you. I've known it since I picked you up from college. Listen to me. I pulled him closer, but as I do, he lashes out. I see a flash of light, and the next thing I know, TJ's escaped my grasp. My paws still stuck out in the air as I watch the Lynx disappear through the trees. Soon the sounds of his footsteps fade as well, and I'm left alone with the deathly quiet forest. Stare for a long time, listening to the nothingness, maybe waiting for TJ to come up the path. Come back, or for Julian to come up the path to beat me up, but nothing happens. I don't know how long I stand there, but when I finally look up, I see the sun is finally set. I numbly lift the camera in my other hand, still holding onto it like I was when I kissed TJ. Slowly I walk over to the bag and kneel down, putting the camera away. That's when I feel the nail in my neck prickle. TJ? I look back hopefully, but the path is empty. The forest, though. The trees and branches and leaves that outline the path just before it curves out of sight, just 15 feet ahead of me. There's a shape in the trees, the shape of legs, arms, a torso, or maybe a head. The shadowy figure seems to blend in the leaves, almost melting into the twilight. I blink hard when I open my eyes, the figure is still there, unmoving, unchanged. That's when I realize that even though I'm holding my breath, I can still hear breathing. It comes from the direction of the shape, even though it doesn't move at all. It looks like a painting. Slowly I stand up. It doesn't move. I start to walk forward, and that's finally when it changes. It starts to melt back into the trees, but the branches and leaves don't move. It moves through them. Then as I reach the bend of the path, it fades into nothing. But the breathing continues. I look around finally and see that it's gotten dark to the point that I can hardly make anything out. Everything that you see is twisted from what it once was. But what is it? It was something once, just like I was. But nothing here is obligated to make sense to you. But what does it want? What does anything here want? The only thing you know for sure is that it's evil. Just like that, I'm running up the rest of the path, feeling as the branches are crawling at me, trying to pull me back into the forest. And still, the breathing continues just over my shoulder, growing ragged with my own, following me, chasing me. I feel it closing in on me, gasping, taking on a robotic tone, as if someone's taking their last breath through a phone. And I'm the one on the other end listening to it. The crackling breath hisses out and then rises up into a screech of static and noise, and I break the trees, land in the ditch, and jamming two figures in the process. As I throw my paws out to catch myself. I don't care, though. I scramble out of the ditch, gasping for breath. Look up, hoping to see TJ, Julian, even Janice, but no one's there. Both cars are gone. I'm left alone on the road in the silence and increasing darkness. I walk back to the motel alone. I hope to see Julian's truck in the parking lot when I get there, but it isn't. Instead, there's the typical 2 or 3 cars along with my own. I still have to hope as I make way to the door. Maybe TJ will be in the bathroom taking a shower. Maybe he'll already be asleep. Maybe he'll be awake and we could just forget what happened, chat until it's late, order repeats like we did at Carl's house. But I press the key card to the lock and it flashes green. I open the door. I don't see TJ at all. It's dark and empty. And that's finally when I realize that TJ's left me as well. My mind is blank as I walk in the motel room, only then realizing I left the camera in the forest. I don't care, though. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. Curl up in the bed and cry for a long time. I don't care how loud I am. I'm sure if anyone here hears it, they've heard worse. The employee at the front desk probably hears it every week because that's just the way this town is. I fall asleep. Fucking hell. When I wake up, I can't. Nope. 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 No sleep paralysis. No. When I wake up, I can't move. I don't care though. It doesn't matter anymore. Even though I know better, I open my eyes. Weirdly enough, the motel is as I left it, disheveled with the lights on. Nothing horrible at all until I hear footsteps at the base of my. No! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Nothing horrible at all until I hear footsteps at the base of my bed. I brace myself for it, but I keep my eyes open. I don't know why. I guess it feels like I'm punishing myself for what I did to TJ. I lay there on my side, curled up and waiting as the footsteps make their way around the bed. I don't know what I expect my mind to conjure up. Maybe the demon in the forest, the evil electric creature that breathed in my ears. I ran from it, jumping from tree to tree behind me. But what I didn't expect is to see a small old Kit Fox in a button-up shirt and a tie. I watch as he sets a card down on the little table next to the bed. I get a moment to see a silver ring on his finger and the warm black claws. Then he picks up a bottle from the table that isn't there and takes a swig from it. Then he moves over to the closet, rod, clothes that I don't recognize hanging from it. He's got a cord of some kind in his paws. He starts to tie it up on the rod while the other end gets tied around his neck. Holy shit, you're kidding! This is the dude that Devin was talking about? This was the fucking dude that Devin was talking about, that killed himself in the hotel room. Oh my god. Starts to tie it up on the rod while the other end gets tied around his neck. I know what he's doing, and now I try to close my eyes, but something seems to hold them open. It's too real. Fox braces himself against the wall, and I see his face clearly. Kind, weary, hopeless. And then he sits, but doesn't completely sit because the cord pulls taut, and he's left with his legs at a loose slant in the ground. You see his eyes bulge, turning red, and at the same time those eyes meet mine, and I think he sees me. I gasp and sit up in the bed, but he doesn't disappear. He lingers. It's only when he starts to go into convulsion that he begins to fade away. I hug my knees, my back pressed against the head. What the fuck was that? My back pressed against the head where my bed as the fox continues to stare at me, then it completely disappears. It was real. It was real. Was. Something's different. Something's wrong in the air. A sound from the bathroom makes me look over at the closed door. Something's in there. Automatically I get up. It's like I'm not in control of my body anymore. It's like I'm still in a dream even though I know I'm not. I get to the door and stand there a little while listening to the breathing inside. And then I open it. No! I stand there for a while, staring in. The light from the room pours into the bathroom, but isn't enough to show me anything out of the ordinary. I feel it, though. There's an energy in there pulling me in. Slowly, I step inside, looking around, my heart hammering in my chest. I'm not scared, not anymore. It's a sort of anticipation instead of fear, like I've been waiting for this ever since I got to Echo. I don't know if I believe in ghosts now, but I know what's happening here is real. I wait, feeling the cold tiles of the bathroom against the pads of my feet. I'm not sure how long I stand there in complete silence. It could be anywhere from 1 minute to 10, but that's finally when I get an answer. Close the door. Close the door. I don't hear anything, but I feel it, and I feel it coming from my left. I look, but I don't see anything. Oh, God. Right. Is this the other version? Is this like the other version of Chulpa? I thought there was a different version of Chulpa that was more monstrous. Like, I look, but I don't see anything. This isn't like the other times when I hear him inside my head. No, the voice inside me is hiding right now, like even he's afraid of this. Even he's afraid of... Sam is afraid of this thing. Okay, it's the Echo entity. There's no doubt in my mind. What fucking voice do I give this fucker? I don't know. Still, I sense it, and even though I start to feel that fear again, I reach for the door. Close it. Close it. Close the door. For a brief moment, I have a sudden realization of where I am, what I'm doing, what's happening, but that's not enough to stop me. There's a haze over my mind, over everything, like I'm in a deep, dark dream that I can't come up from. I think I've lost my mind or I'm dead. Either way, it doesn't matter anymore. I push the door closed, but not fully, letting just a crack of light in, so that through the mirror I can see the outline of the fur on the left side of my head. No, please God, please God. No, please. But as I'm looking at that, I start to get the feeling it's not me in the mirror. I look shorter, smaller, and something's wrong with my face. Yeah, it's the other version of Chulpa. I can almost see what looks like the corner of a mouth stretched all the way across the Okay. No, please, just like I saw in the diner bathroom 5 days ago? I don't know, it feels so long. But it's then I realize the presence I feel is coming from this thing in the mirror. No, please, please, no. I don't like this. I don't like this. I really don't like this. We stare at each other for a long time. The fear rising, and I can't look down because I'm standing up. I can't look fucking down. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. The fear rising and rising until it's almost overwhelming. But my feet won't move, my mind won't reason with what's happening. Of course it won't. I'm in a nightmare. This is real. The mirror whispers at me and I see the grotesque mouth, move with raspy, whispering words. Slowly I move a little closer to the mirror, ducking my head down a bit, reaching up to touch my cheek, where I see the widened gash of a mouth. The reflection does the same, but when I touch my face, I only feel smooth fur, even as the fingers in the mirror brush against the opening. What's happening? I ask myself, and the reflection responds. What's been happening for eons? What was supposed to happen to everyone else in this town? But you stopped it. What? Coming back here with your secret. Almost started it, but now that's everyone's. About to find out. What are you talking about? This town might actually survive if they find out. Find out what? I bring both paws to press against the sides of my face as I cover up the gaping mouth. You know what? I squint at the reflection, trying to figure out why it looks so familiar. Sydney? There's a raspy, rustling sound, and I see the thing in the mirror shake, its head twitching from side to side, far too fast to be anything of this world. I take a step back. Dread rises in my chest. No, this is supposed to be over. I'm not supposed to see things anymore. You always knew they were wrong. Always knew that what you saw was real. Nothing normal about this. It's not me seeing things again that's got me feeling the way I do. No. What secret are you talking about? Again, that raspy sound of rustling leaves sounding old and forgotten. It's the other! It's the other! It has to be the other. That's when it feels like I'm talking to something old, monolithic, and ancient. You didn't need me to tell. You don't need me to tell you. I grasp my shirt, twisting the fact of my paws, feeling like I might panic, I might go insane. Already insane. But how is anyone gonna find out? No one knows. You know that's not true. Who is responsible for the cruel joke? Swallow hard. Someone knows. No, that was something else. They didn't know. It was a stupid prank on me to make me look bad, to ruin our vacation. Vacation? Is that what I'm on right now? That thought is foolish, and you know it. It was definitely foolish. And you know it was. And after what you did to him. I see myself pinning the lizard in the parking lot, holding back from pounding his face into nothing. He's going to tell everyone. No. I hear myself whine, feeling like a child, like the small creature in the mirror. Yes, unless... I wait, feeling tears well in my eyes, knowing that my life's about to change forever. The silence drags on and on until I finally break it. What? I can help you keep the secret. I wait a while longer, but the reflection stays quiet. I get the sense that time is going faster than I perceive, my legs aching from standing there, rigidly on the cold tile floor. Help me? I can tell you what you need to do to keep things the way they are. I feel a small ray of hope pierce through the towering cloud of impending doom in my chest. How? There's a dark pause, a moment that marks an in-between, between what was and what's about to become. I know things can't truly stay the way they are, they never do. Another split in my life, just like what happened years ago. Finally the thing speaks and they're exactly what I expect. Do the same to the lizard. I swallow film, myself resisting, rejecting the idea. Unless you want them all to know your secret. But how do I know it was him? He sounded like he had no idea what you were doing. He is deceptive, a liar. His entire family has always been. But I can't, if I don't know for sure. Show him the note. You'll see his reaction. The truth. I apologized to my pocket, feeling the gentle outline of the folded paper. Who are you? The rustling leaves again, and I realize that while this might be Sydney, it's something more than Sydney. And it doesn't answer me. We stand there for a long time again, minutes, hours, I don't know. Why would you help me? This time the answer is immediate. This town needs secrets. Why? Again, no answer. I stand there for what feels like hours. I continue to stare at the small, disfigured creature. I get the feeling it's starting to move independent from me. That thought scares me. I lift my paws. I'm relieved to see the reflection do the same as soon as I touch my face. I feel the corner of my mouth stretched out to my ear. No! In a sudden burst of panic, I lunge for the light switch and flip it on. I'm stunned as I'm bathed in blinding yellow light and I have to shut my eyes for a moment before opening them. I see myself in the mirrors I've always been, staring back blearily. My eyes are bloodshot, my figure seems to sag with exhaustion. I stand there for a while, feel my mind cloud up even more as I go over what just happened. Then a violent shiver comes over my body like I'm suffering a high fever. I feel sick. My skin is sensitive, my joints are sore, and after a moment, I move back into the motel room. I can see that it's light outside through the curtains. How long was I in there? Must have been hours. I don't care, though. Still shivering, I head for the closest bed, slide under the covers of my clothes and lean my head against the pillow. I realize now that this is Jenna's bed and I can smell her perfume, along with the faint scent of fox musk on the pillow. Where was she again? I can't even remember through the haze in my head. It's Sunday. I think I fall asleep, but I'm not sure. A sudden knock at the door makes me jump. I curl up tighter into the covers, hoping that I just dreamed it. The whoever's outside just goes away. Then the knock again, followed by Leo's voice. Otter, you in there? I cringe because my eyes shut, having completely forgotten about him. Why he chosen to show up now? I lay still for a moment, then he yells again, which makes me jump out of the bed, cringe at the pain in my joints. Groggily, I stumble to the door, lean against it for a moment. I feel lightheaded, trying to gather myself. Finally, I fix my face into a tired smile before opening the door. Leo stands there, his eyes perked, his ears perked, eyes wide, so he hadn't expected me to open the door. Oh, hey Chase, are you alright? He reaches out to rest upon my shoulder, looking me over. Yeah, I was up all night doing my project. I left it until the last minute. I give him a sheepish grin. Leo clicks his tongue at me. Isn't that due tomorrow, and aren't you driving home all day today? I shrug. I'll be fine. If you say so, Otter. He was just staring at me with a look of concern. What's up? Well, I guess I'm just sorry that I haven't been around more this week. Well, I guess I was just being a bit unfair to you. I racked my brain for a reason why Leo's apologizing to me, or how exactly you've been unfair to me. I guess I've just been a bit down because you weren't talking to me as much as I thought you would. Leo been avoiding me all week? I hadn't even noticed. Oh well, it's alright. I was wondering why you hadn't texted me. I'm missing you. Leo's ears flatten. I see a look of shame cross his face. You could have texted me too, you know. I didn't want to bother you. I could tell you weren't all that happy. Leo lets out a big sigh and his shoulders droop. I'm sorry, Chase. I guess felt kind of shitty after what Flynn did, and you just went kind of quiet. I scratched the back of my head. Yeah, I can't deny that he kind of ruined the vibe of the whole trip, but I really should have called you afterwards. I'm sorry, too. My dad did call me into work every day, so I guess it would have been hard to work things out anyway. Sounds familiar. You still making you work weekends, too? Usually, yeah. Leo looks past my shoulder in the motel room. Anyway, when I texted Jen, it sounded like something was wrong. I guess she's already back in Pueblo. I shrug. Yeah, I think the tension got to her in the end. She took off early. She was complaining about Flynn the entire time she was here. Leo lets out another big sigh. Great, he's been acting strange, too. Oh, yeah? I said silently, hope the wolf is going to ask to be let in. Yeah, driving around acting all shady. That's actually when we want to visit you, see if everything's okay. Carl's even responding to me. I'm good, just tired and stressed out. Is Tej here? He's actually hanging out with an old friend, Peyton, right now. Once he comes back, we're gonna start driving back. It was actually in the middle of a nap. Oh, sorry, you wanted to get back to that then? Smiled guiltily. Yeah, that'd probably be for the best. Don't want to nod off on the road, you know. Of course. Leo looks at me hesitantly. Listen, I know this is probably going to be our last time getting together before we all split off, but you want to try this again in the future, maybe over the summer when you don't have school to worry about? I just feel like we left a lot unsaid. Doesn't have to be everyone, and maybe this summer we'll just tell Flynn not to come around. Smile back at Leo. Yeah, that sounds good. I think that'd be a great time. Leo smiles back, looking genuinely relieved and happy. Ah, that's so good to hear. I'll be sure Dad knows that I want the week off. Good luck with that, and I'll let TJ and Jenna know. Thanks, Chase. Leo stands there for a moment, then steps forward to give me a hug. I hug back tightly before letting him go. I stand in the doorway until Leo's van pulls out of the parking lot, heading in the direction of the highway, probably on his way to work. Once he's gone, I deflate, feeling as if that one conversation had been equal to hours of hard labor. Still, watching him go, I get a sense of sadness, like that was the last time we'd see each other the way we are now. I stumble back to the bed, almost falling before I catch myself on the edge with both paws. I stare at the square patterns on the comforter, feeling a little sick. For a moment, I hear whispers coming from the dark bathroom, but I don't even look up to see if I can see that figure in the mirror. I wish I'd close the door, but I'm not going near that place again. So I just curl back up on the bed, facing away from the bathroom, closing my eyes. Sunday. I'd gotten bored of skipping rocks pretty quickly. Oh, holy shit. Good God. Leo was so good at it, he could skip them over the water 5 times before they sunk. Even Jenna could do at least 3. Mine would splat once and sink like stones they were. After Leo laughed at my last one, I glared and decided to go further off the beach where no one else could go. Is this the day of? Is this the day of? Hey, not in the way of the rocks, you're gonna get ahead. Leo telling me to be careful and made me more angry, and I cut through the water far below the surface so they couldn't see me. I go back to the direction where we came from, wondering if Sydney and Toby are in the shallows, and I might be able to surprise them. When I come around the curve in the beach, I see that they are in fact in the shallows, but I can tell immediately that something isn't right. Toby's flat in his stomach in the water. Sydney is sitting on his back. Toby's just enough room that his head barely sticks out of the water. When I put my head up, I can hear the cat sobbing. Sydney isn't saying much at all. I've got a strange look in his face. It's a look that I've seen before, like that time he covered Toby's mouth and nose. When he'd had him pinned down, we had to pull them apart. That same look when he'd thrown a dirt cloud with a rock in at the lynx's head. A look that was determined, almost empty, but completely fascinated with what he was doing. Almost like he liked it. Something about this situation scared me, though. The other times we'd been there to help separate them or stop Sydney from going too far. But now it looked like he was trying to kill the cat. Every now and then a wave would slosh over Toby's mouth and nose, and he'd just yell and struggle frantically, begging Sydney to get off. But Sydney just sat there enamored with his own cruelty. He was going to kill Toby, just like he killed his dad. He didn't kill his dad! My vision blurs as I go under and speed toward them. I leap out of the water to knock Sydney off the lynx as hard as I can. Sydney falls back in the water before quickly pushing himself back up. See the look of horror on his face, not what I'm about to do to him, but because he just got caught doing something bad. Not just bad, but weird and scary and something no one should ever do, not even if you're a kid. I don't think you could ever explain why you like doing it. That look imprints itself in my mind. TJ runs off. I don't know where to. I tried to get Cindy to tell me what he was doing for a while. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I get angry. I throw a punch, and misses and hits him in the throat instead. He lets out a hard cough, reaching up with both paws to clutch at his neck. He manages to stumble to his feet without using his paws, as Luce Lobo's swim trunks wetly clinging to his legs. I don't give him a chance to stand for long. I tackle him again and grab his head, shove it underwater. He scrambles frantically. I feel a dark satisfaction in my chest at the way I can hear his screams through the bubbling of his exhaling breath. I finally let him go after a good 10 seconds. He comes up, gagging and choking. He starts to scramble away in his paws and knees before getting up. I see snot hanging from his nose and chin as he stumbles, snorting out water, and I can tell he's about to cry. You tried to kill me! I'm telling Leo, you tried to murder me! So that was it. For some reason, the way he immediately tried to put that on me. It was then that I believed he was trying to kill TJ. Maybe not even on purpose, maybe just waiting for it to accidentally happen. I don't know. But now I was going to make everyone think I'm a murderer. Even though we all know he did it. He stumbles away and I go after him, grabbing him. He's trying to kill me! His voice is weak and so is his body. Oh, well, that was not all what I did there, especially in the water. I put my head up through the waves in front of the others. Otter, move! We're gonna hit your head! I move, shrug my shoulders, dipping under the water again so that I can hug myself and tremble alone. Again, time passes in a way I'm not familiar with. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours pass, and my phone starts to ring. There's something ominous about it, something I can't explain, but I feel it deep in my bones, like the aches in my joints. I open my eyes and see my phone just a foot in front of my face, vibrating over and over. I see the blank contact image on the screen with the name Julian under it. For a moment I wonder why I have his number, why I have his name attached to it. Then I remember it's because we'd exchanged numbers during the scavenger hunt. So that I could call him to meet up. Slowly I reach out and press the green button to answer. I raise it to my ear, waiting, but only getting silence on the other end. Hello? Hey, Chase? Julian's voice sounds hesitant, like he's not really sure about what he's doing, like he doesn't know me. Yeah? Hey, so something happened that I thought you or at least someone should know about. I slowly set out, the blanket falling away from my shoulders. What's up? Well, TJ spent the night over at my place after what you did. Julian's voice takes in a hard edge, and for a moment I'm not sure what he's talking about. Then I remember the forest and what happened there. For some reason, the thought doesn't create that horrible empty guilt I'd felt yesterday. In fact, I feel nothing. Anyway, we got him in a bus ticket back to CCU, and we were hanging around out until the departure time, which was an hour ago now. Yeah? Well, that lizard guy showed up, Flynn. He showed up at my house. I didn't know how he knew where I lived, but I think Janice told him. My heart skips a beat. Anyway, he wanted to talk to TJ, and eventually TJ told me that I could just wait inside. So I did, and after a while, when I looked, they were gone. Gone? Yeah, and so was his truck. I'm pretty sure TJ went with him. But I don't know, they were both acting really strange, so I don't really feel good about it. TJ won't respond to my texts either. I see. So, since your number was the only one I have from your friend group, I thought I should tell you so you can let the others know too. Alright, I'll do that. Alright. There's a pause. I'm already getting up, looking for my keys. I'll probably check things out myself before I shift today. You know where Flynn lives? I can tell that the Buck doesn't really trust me with this information. Why would he? I don't care, though. Yeah, he's on Shefford Street. Janice will be able to point out where it is for you, but I'm heading over now. Well, let me know if you find anything out. I will, later. Bye. I feel my heart rate picking up speed as I finally found my keys under my backpack on the table. I snatch them up and jog out of the motel, the heat of the afternoon sun coming over me in a wave. I realize then how late it is. I've been in the motel for nearly a full day, but to me, it only felt like a few hours, if that. I should be on the highway right now, if not already back in Pueblo. But I realize that none of that matters now. As I sit down in the oven-like heat of my car, I can see it staring at me from the back seat. I'm not afraid of it, at least not right now. It means that I'm on the right track, I think. I'm doing what I was meant to do. I know where Flynn and TJ are. He probably thinks that's the best place to get the truth out of TJ. His truck sits there in the small parking lot alone, gleaming in the setting sun. I pull up right next to it and look inside. Empty. I park and shut off the engine, jumping out and jogging toward the faint trail through the sagebrush. I know exactly where to go. Instead of turning right like we did yesterday to get to the boulder, I take a left. I haven't been on this part of the beach in over a decade, not since it happened. I know this is the right direction, though, and soon enough I see the bend on the beach that turns into the shallow that we played in so many times. I can see an onset of tracks leading in that direction. Flynn's footprints, not hard to recognize with their long clawed toes. But there's another pattern next to them. They aren't footprints, but drag marks, like Flynn had been dragging something next to him. I pick up the pace and start to run, catching my breath catching my throat, and the feeling not being able to turn back, looming over me like a dark fog. Water and sand around me starting to tinge a soft red with the setting sun. For a moment I wonder what would happen if I stop. What if I turn back instead of turning this corner? I know that my life will turn out very, very differently if I do. That thing in the mirror, the town, it told me so. But I feel like I'm on a set of train tracks cutting through the desert with no alternative path to speak of. And I've been on this track ever since I decided that I need to protect TJ. When I turn the corner, I see him immediately. TJ is sitting on the bench, his knees are drawn up to his chest as he stares downward. Flynn is standing over TJ's, paws on his hips, looking down at the cat. It looks like he'd been thrown there by the lizard, and I feel rage replace anticipation and fear. It's finally going to happen, and now I want it to. Hey! Flynn immediately whirls around, eyes wide as he spots me sprinting toward him. Takes a step back and I get close, but I skid to a stop 10 feet away, glaring at him like my paws clenched into fists. What the hell are you doing? I scream at him, wanting to let him know just how pissed I am. Feels good, finally not being afraid or worried what's going to happen. Because now I know there's no other option. Finn looks taken aback from looking me up and down before he straightens up. He hasn't forgotten what happened between us yesterday, and I can tell that he's afraid of me. Get the fuck out of here, Chase. This isn't about you. You fucking bet it is. I look at TJ, who's gone back to stare at the ground, expression vacant. What are you doing to him? I'm not doing anything to him except asking him some questions. About? You know exactly what about. He's trying to confirm your secret. Get away from him. I say each word deliberation, taking a few steps closer to the lizard. Flynn steps back, but only with one foot and doesn't back away further. You stay the fuck away from me, Chase. And what the hell have you been doing this whole week? Flynn seems to grow a little more confident with that. What do you mean? I stop and cross my arms, waiting. What I asked yesterday, and after what happened to Carl, I think I'm out a fucking explanation. I feel the anger rise up even more in my chest. You want an explanation after the shit you've been pulling? Flynn once again looks taken about my anger. The hell are you talking about? My palm moves to my pocket. You know exactly what I'm talking about. That fucked up scavenger hunt you said is on the start that you started with Carl. Flynn gapes at me. What? I feel as though my resolution dissolves. The lizard's face looks completely bewildered. He's lying. Anger swells once again. Quit fucking lying to me! I know what you did, and I know what you think happened! Flynn steps forward. Chase, get the fuck out of here now! This isn't about you! TJ, tell me what happened! I look down at TJ again. That vacant stare. What did he tell you? Leave! This isn't about you! Flynn walks up to me, giving me a hard shove in the chest. I stumble back. Really? I feel my paw reach in my pocket as if of its own accord. I grasp the note, and even though my nerves fail me as I'm pulling it out, it seems to happen on its own.
Then what the hell is this?
I unfold the note, ripping the old paper in the process, but it's intact enough when I present it in front of the wizard's face. Flynn's brow furrows in confusion. For a moment where he takes it roughly from my paws, he stares at it, eyes scanning the page as if looking at it from all angles. Finally, his eyes flick up to look at me. "What the fuck is this?" he whispers hoarsely. I look straight back at him, waiting for the expression of familiarity, the guilt, the knowledge that the piece of paper is his own doing. But instead of what the mirror promised, I get shock and confusion instead. Just like that, I feel my determination break down. It was as if something had been driving me to this moment, and that cloud covering my mind breaks for a moment. For a moment, things are clear, and I'm left in a daze. I don't... "What is this?" His voice turns up into a scream. It's such a horrible sound that I stumble back. He holds the paper up, showing me, and I stare at it like I've never seen it before. Unlike the other notes, this one's a crude drawing. On the far left of the page, a small stick figure with lynx ears is kneeling on a beach surrounded by clams and starfish. He's covering his face, tears falling to the sand below. Extending out from the beach, poorly drawn waves spread across the top of the page represent the lake. Far below the waves, two figures are connected near the bottom of the page. One is X's for eyes, his arms and legs splayed out, tiny little bubbles coming out from the mouth. Below that figure, another sits below him, grinning mischievously, holding the drowning stick figure down by his tail. As if the picture wasn't descriptive enough, words and arrows label the characters. Toby sitting on the beach, Sydney dead in the water, and Chase holding him down. I've looked at that drawing so many times before, but now to have Flynn be the one to show it to me. But he had to have been the one to draw this. Who else could have done it? But here he was, standing there in a state of shock, just like me, but I could see his expression very quickly morphing into fury. All my plans to confront him, to figure out how we found out, are thrown out the window, because he just found out. I'm completely unprepared, and conveniently the presence that spurred me on is left as well. And it's only now that I realize how stupid this all was. It's like I've been tricked. "Chase!" Flynn's walking toward me, his expression's like nothing I've ever seen before. "Chase!" I can see in his eyes what he's about to do. Back away, stumbling, and that's when he rushes, tackling me to the ground, and crushes me into the hard, sharp rocks underneath. Unlike yesterday, all of my strength and confidence has abandoned me. It's like whatever has been driving me has left me right at this moment, taking several steps back to watch. Like it wanted this to happen all along. Flynn's fists find my face, first one on the right side, then another one on the left. Each one brings a flash of light to my vision, and that moment all sense leaves me. It's kind of nice in a way, like I don't have to be present for the horror that I brought on myself. A few more punches come my way, the impacts like earthquakes in my head, but I don't feel any pain. Instead, they leave me feeling stunned like I've been electrocuted. I can feel blood pouring from my nose like a faucet, though, and soon it fills my mouth with that familiar metallic taste. "You fucking piece of shit! You think you're just playing with me like this?" His strong big hands find my neck and start to squeeze. Through blurred vision, I can see him above me, eyes filled with tears, glaring down at me with a rage that I didn't think was possible. You little shit will fucking get away with this shit this time!" I hear the rustling leaves again, my reflection, Sydney, the town, whatever it is, laughing at me. Vaguely I wonder if Flynn has been spurred on by it too. Weird puppets. Nothing seems real right now. What's happening to me, to Flynn? What's happening between us? It seems impossible. But the breath that's stuck in my throat is very real, and I start to see stars and blackness begin to cloud my vision. After the things I've done, I guess I deserve it. I guess this is the appropriate way to go out. "Lynn!" Soft voice coming from the distance. "It was me, I did it!" Hands come away from my throat, and I take in one massive breath like I'm coming out from the water after being under for far too long. Spit and blood go down my throat into my lung, and I roll over, letting out a great cough. spraying the rock in front of my face with dark drops of blood. What? I watched blood drip to the flat rock in a steady rhythm from my nose, having to breathe extra hard through my mouth because of it. I said I did it. It was an accident. I pushed him out into the water and he drowned. I grabbed the rug, stumbled my feet, feeling that old anger return. He's going to kill Toby. Stop him. I stumbled unsteadily to my feet and turned to see the lizard with his back to me approaching TJ. He will never leave Toby alone. Just like Sydney. I stumbled out, then hand tightened around the rock, the back of Flynn's head in my sights. What did you say? But you can stop it for good. Break the circle. I'm a few steps away from Flynn when I swing, bringing it down his head as hard as I can. The sound is awful. Immediately, Flynn bends over, screaming in pain as his paws come up to clutch the back of his head. I swing again, this time glancing off the top of his head, most of my power robbed by the poor angle. Flynn turns to me then, still crouched low, and tries to tackle me. I stay on my feet for the most part when I'm pushed back several feet as I grab onto his back for support. I feel the cold water on my feet. That's when I grab the lizard under his armpits and start to pull us both further out. Flynn doesn't even realize what's happened until the water's up to our knees. He stands, stares up straight, and I see the blood raining down his face from his head. He's glaring at me, expression wild, gaze clouded just like mine. He takes a swing at me. It lands on my jaw. Though my head is snapped to the side, and another flash fills my vision, I'm able to grab that paw and swing him further out into the lake. The lizard stumbles in the shallows, standing up waist deep, and that's when I throw myself at him with everything I've got. I tackle him into the water, and we're both submerged. Fuck. Do I really have to... I feel the change in Flynn's demeanor. The change as he realizes that he's gone from fighting for the truth to a fight for his life. Claws come out and scratch at my arms, and I ignore it, the cold of the water numbing any pain that I might have felt. I kick us further out into the lake, my powerful tail and body coming into play, doing what I was built to do. I know I knocked the breath out of Flynn when I barreled into him, so he doesn't have much time before he needs another breath. I'm not going to give it to him. I thrust us both through the water, downward against the rocks and sand below us. He grasps at me, kicking with his feet, and I catch a glimpse of his face then. It's not anger anymore, or clouded. Instead, he stares at me with shock and utter disbelief. I'm killing him, and he realizes it. He also realizes the truth then. You see it in his eyes. What he's wanted to know for the past decade. He realizes in the last minutes of his life. He kicks it with his feet, his movements becoming even more desperate. His paws move to my neck, trying to choke me again, but it's useless. I already have my breath. Watch bubbles spurt from his muzzle, then all at once in a gush. His paws go from strangling to pleading. He grabs me by the shoulders, shaking, tugging, looking into my eyes. I'm relentless, that feeling of not being able to turn back too strong. His muzzle opens, trying to breathe, but only taking in water. His thrashing turns up a notch, scratching my legs with his claws as he kicks even harder. His second burst of desperation only lasts a few seconds, though. His movements growing more and more tired, weaker and weaker. He's not even looking at me anymore, eyes darting past me toward the glimmering surface above. A place I'll never let him see again. His movements become more sporadic, like he's having convulsions. My instincts tell me to let him go, but to end this insanity, my paws don't let me. I close my eyes and press harder. After a few more minutes, I don't feel any more movements. Slowly, I let him go, careful not to look at his face. His body stays still for the most part, moving back and forth gently with the current. I kick to the surface, my limbs numb as I break through to the cold air above. You don't take a life and expect it to just Fucking go away, dude. You don't do that. I should... I'm still fucking... Sorry guys, I need a break. I'm pausing this. Okay, I'm back. I took about a 10-minute break there. I couldn't continue without that. Okay, what I was gonna say is that you don't take a life easily. Okay, it sticks with you. I should know because I've killed a few animals in my time, and that sounds really fucking gross and wrong when I say it like that, but like... any way I phrase it is gonna sound like I'm a fucking psychopath. My dad was around at this time, and the first one was a guinea pig. I was just fucking angry, and I strangled it to death. You don't take a life and expect to just go away. Unless you're a fucking psychopath. Okay, let's get into this again. It's almost over. I pull myself along through the rocks, gasping and feeling incredibly weak for some reason. My stomach lurches, and for a moment I feel as if I'm going to throw up. I stay there on my hands and knees, staring into the water at my reflection. My face looks blank, and for a moment I see the horrible gashed mouth. I know I'm crying, even if the lake water is covering it up. It happened. But as I look up and as I see TJ there, everything comes together. He's on his knees, staring past me, mouth hanging open. Suddenly I remember exactly why it is this all happened, and my chest fills with warmth and love for the cat as I stumble toward him on my knees. TJ doesn't seem to notice me as I wrap my arms around him, pressing his face to my chest. Good God, no. I don't want to voice this piece of shit. I've done. I've got you. We're okay. He's not gonna hurt you anymore. I breathe heavily into Lynx's ear as I whisper to him, wanting to let him know that everything's going to be okay. Finally, I feel him shake his head against my body. Jeez, why? Because he knew when he was never gonna leave us alone. He tried to kill us. Kissed the top of the cat's head gently, wanting to know how much I care. Is he? He's gone. Jay sobs against me, but I only hug him tighter. Why did you do that? He reaches out to my left and I look, seeing the paper in the lake. Not sure what she's talking about. Me showing from the paper, killing him. I don't know, so I don't answer. Instead, I hug him even tighter, whispering in his ear. It'll be just like last time. Well, don't tell anyone our secrets. Something turns ominous in the air. That horrible tension I'd felt dissipate when he opened the letters returns. This town needs secrets. We'll tell them they tried to kill us. We had to protect ourselves. TJ leans tiredly against me, his arms limp. We're gonna be okay, just like last time, we can forget. TJ doesn't respond, so I look out at the lake and get a shock as I see Flynn floating there close to the shore. He's face down, back just barely touching the surface. For a moment I wonder if it's not too late, if there's still enough life in him to be revived. But that same feeling holds me back and I cling to TJ instead. We're gonna be okay. We will manipulate it. Keep servants. That voice comes to the surface for only the first times, but this first time sounded stunned. I returned to focusing on the links, the whole reason why I did any of this in the first place. Whatever happened to me to protect him from all the shitty people that wouldn't want to hurt him. By the time we get to our feet, it's dark and I have to help the lynx along the sagebrush. He's quiet and robotic like he was the first time this happened. The first time this happened! You fucking piece of shit! I help him into the car, I get into the driver's seat, quietly pulling out of the parking lot and leaving Flynn's empty truck behind. I watch it disappear in the rearview mirror, sitting alone under the yellow parking lot light. As we drive along the road, the lynx stares out the window. I still feel the tension in my arms and legs, making it difficult to keep the wheels steady. My heavy, wet clothes stick to the seat. Finally, we get to the freeway and I look back again. Echo, just a series of tiny lights, insignificant in the desert landscape. It seems absurd that place is where all that horror happened. Where all of that horror still is. Jeez. Snap out of my daydream, looking over at the lynx, his eyes glowing gently in the fading light. After we're done with wherever we're going... Police station? Yeah, can you give me a ride back to CCU? I missed my bus. TJ smiles sheepishly. I blink, wondering what to say. Does he not realize? Then I realize what he's doing. It's happening. Just like last time. Clear my throat. Oh yeah, definitely, I'll give you a ride for sure. Thanks, Chase. He smiles at me, then goes back to looking out the window. I wonder if he'll forget what happened, like what happened with Sydney. I hope that I can. Drive off into the dark desert toward the soft glow of Peyton in the distance. You reprehensible piece of shit. 5 years later. Seriously, this is gonna be such a good fucking time. You'll be glad you came. The big grizzly bear nudges the coyote playfully, almost knocking the canine into the passenger window. Ow, keep your paws on the wheel, or your paw at least. This road ain't in great shape. Cameron eyes the giant half-eaten burger in the bear's equally giant paw. Dev's other paw occasionally steers the wheel, elbow resting out through the open window. The bear looks happier than he's been in a while, somehow grinning as he chews. The coyote sighs and stares out at his own window, watching the desert landscape fly by. It was nothing like this in his hometown, and he found himself wishing he was back amongst the pine forests. Something he'd been wishing since he moved to Pueblo for school. Technically, this was his natural habitat, but he found the whole place depressing, somehow. Empty and dry and rough. What you pouting for? I'm not pouting. Yeah, you are. Cameron sighs, trying to change the subject. So why couldn't Larry go again? I don't know, said something about his car breaking down. Think he just flaked, though. Aren't there other haunted places in Pueblo that we could have gone to, like by the school? The bear shakes his head, letting go of the wheel to crumple up the foil that it packaged, sandwich tossing it into the back. Not like Echo did. This place is the most haunted town in the entire fucking world. Cameron sighs once again, and suddenly gasping to see as the car swerves and turns hard into a smaller road, heading toward a big blue lake. What the fuck? Whoops, sorry, I must miss the turn. We gotta hit Lake M before the actual town. The road quickly ends up in a small parking lot, empty and cracked. Why? Because a lot of shit happened here. Grizzly hops out of the car, making the entire thing tilt sideways as he squeezes his bulk out before reaching back in for the camera bag. The coyote allows himself one last frustrated sigh before he gets out as well. The bear waits for him, reaching out a large padded paw. Cameron takes it and is immediately drawn into a tight embrace and a kiss. The coyote tenses up for a moment and waits until it releases him. Can you not do that right after you eat a big greasy hamburger? Cameron makes a show of wiping his lips. Devin rolls his eyes. No pleasing you, is there? Nevertheless, the grizzly holds out his paw again and Cameron takes it, the two of them walking toward the faint trail. It's not a pleasant walk. The trail is obscured by sagebrush and dry vegetation. Once they reach the edge of the lake, Devin has to help the coyote down the rough, rocky terrain. The coyote feels like a fat child as Devin lifts him down off the boulders and onto the beach. The bear's tree trunk biceps bulging as he does. They stand there a moment, taking in the scenery. Then Devin leans over to set the camera bag down. Cameron stands there, looking around at the very unphotogenic lake. So what exactly happened here that you're so interested in? Devin takes off his backwards baseball cap for a moment to smooth his head fur down. He puts it back on and bends down again to take out the camera. Some people say the lake is haunted too. Some guy got killed here in 2015, according to a few articles I read. Wonderful. That was self-defense, though. Was that during the whole hysteria thing or whatever? Devin pans the camera over the length of the lake before stopping on Cameron. The coyote frowns at being filmed. No, that was in 2017. The bear pans the camera the other way now, and Cameron feels himself getting sweaty under his shirt already. Some coyote he was. It's so hot here. Once we set ourselves up in the motel, we'll have some shade. It's still open? Huh, nothing's open. Everything's abandoned now. Gonna get arrested for trespassing. The bear finally turns off the camera, leaning over to shove it in his bag. Cops never come down here. It's too out of the way. Anything for the views, right? Hey, my subscribers are gonna love this shit now. Come on, let's get back to the car. Bear turns and starts scrambling up the rocky boulders, Cameron waiting as he does. That's when the coyote turns around to glance back at the lake one last time, and a lizard lays in the shallows, splayed out, staring at the sky. But he's not staring because his eyes are gone, half of his muzzle missing. Fuck! Cameron jumps back, tripping over the rocks and landing against the sharp edges. Coyote hisses in pain, but the fear spurs him on, trying to scramble up the rocks after Devin. Bear's already turned around, though, reaching down to pull Cameron up. Shit, you alright? What happened? As Cameron clings to the large bear, he looks back, but nothing's there. I don't know, I saw... Devin looks in the same direction, squinting. Cameron squeezes away along, then turns back and shakes his head against Devin's chest. Cameron looks up at the bear, is grinning though. Holy shit, did you see a ghost? Coyote scowls. What? No, I just thought I saw something. It was the reflection in the water or something. Bear gives him a knowing smile. What? You're gonna be a bully right into all this, I know it. Grizzly hugs him tightly as Cameron frowns, still looking back at the shallows. It's so real. Before he can even really collect himself, Devin is pulling him along back to the car. Why? Fuck. You know, this route is just so fucking good. What the fuck is this code shit? Like, but anyway, like, this route is so fucking good. Mainly because it's just... The main reason someone would choose TJ's route first is because they wanted to try and help TJ or protect him or something. And then the game turns that desire against you. It's so good. The way it's slowly just... Fucking... Why? Just why? I don't... I can't fucking... I fucking hate this shit, man. I fucking hate this shit. I don't like this route. I mean, I like it, but I don't. Good God. There is a reason I prefer Ripples to this. There is a reason I prefer that to this fucking ending. Good God, I fucking... You just fucking kill Flynn, because why not, you fucking piece of shit? I can't do this. See ya.